How's it going, everybody? I'm Kyle from Fantasy Fort Studios, and we are back with session 56 of Everlast. We are joined by all of our players today. Cole will be here. He'll be a little bit late, but so we have his little Luxalia up there for now. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and have all of our players introduce themselves before we jump into a little bit of a recap and the continuation of the journey at large, starting with Azil.
Max isn't here right now.
It's only Zil. It's only a t-shirt.
Hello, my name is Max. I play Zil, the maybe beloved, maybe not, orphan of Helix. Probably not. But the orphan of Helix, the blacksmith extraordinaire, the future refining and prospector, Waffle House, and the Teapot of Madness. So what nickname will he get this time?
Hopefully,
he hasn't gotten a new
WrestleMania
nickname in a
champion.
while. He wants it, man. He has tried so hard. But yeah, Zil is, like I said, the orphan of Helix. He was orphaned at a young age, brought up in a blacksmith shop, was a protector of the other orphans, and is now on a wild ride to, lean into that desire to protect all of Everlast. Kind of naive. Never really learned much. Really street smart, but he's a very simple view of the world, and he doesn't understand when people don't see it that way. Which is why he has blabbed about our mission to more than anybody, more than everybody else combined. Because if we tell them we're gonna kill Malvish, of course they're gonna help us.
It's a good assumption. Well, maybe.
Yeah. There you go.
Zil's got a way too of.
He's a tank who loves axes. I forgot that.
That's true.
My job is to get hit often.
Exactly.
Be in the way.
Exactly.
But not get hit on. That's Belbin's job.
Belbin is too good looking for his old age.
Only with Bree, as we've recently found out.
Yeah, we got new tokens for our characters. for some of the crew members, so that's good. The next one, we'll go ahead and skip over Luxalia for now. If Cole does join us by the end of the character introductions, then we'll let Cole introduce Luxalia. If not, I'll introduce Luxalia for him. Let's go ahead and jump to Yuki.
Hi everyone, my name is Dane or Forge here at Fantasy Forge Studios, and I play the character Mistletoe Yuki. She is a silver dragon from the far north city of Flamongolith. She is pretty cool. She's got wings, she can fly, but she's also a bard, actually. Not a supporty bard though. She is a physical DPS bard with the sword or blade dancer class. I guess. And so she uses 2 broadswords and tears up the competition with those 2 broadswords. She recently took a massive hit to her DV and RV, so that's kind of sad. But you know, such is life. Such is life. And she will just have to burst kill people now, even more so than she already previously did.
Hey, you just have to use your abilities and you get +4s to them, so you're...
That's true. I do have a trait that allows me to choose either my RV or DV that it can go up by 4. And I don't think it's maxed at 16. I'll have to double check that, but
No, I don't think it's maxed at 16.
Which would be nice because that would take me to a 17, which would be nice. Anyways, though, she's pretty cool. She's awesome, and she is on a journey to become more holy of a person. She is digging into herself. Golden Rock did a lot to her as far as like give her perspective on the world, and she's trying to right the wrong that she's done in this world. So that's Yuki.
Nice. Our next adventurer is Belbin.
Yes. Hi, guys. I'm Connor, and I play Belbin. Belbin 2 is on a quest to become holier. He is a lover of all things, known for being generous and kind. Loves all of humanity or all the everything. He is a sport character. He is a pacifist. And everything I just said is a lie about Belbin. So
let's take the opposite.
So Connor wasn't introducing Belbin. Belbin was introducing Belbin.
Yeah. From Belbin's perspective, that is who he is.
He's a pacifist as he just rips the spine out.
Yeah.
They were already dead anyways. It's no harm, no foul.
Yeah. If you take the opposite of everything I just said, you have probably a pretty good picture of who Belbin is.
He punches things. He does all of the Glyvin dexterity stuff, so pretty sneaky.
The mischief. Yep.
He puts the bloody bosun's head in a chest because why not?
He puts the blood in bloody bosun.
Yeah, you guys are technically sailing on his ship right now, so it's a good time. Then we have Thordane. Thordane is the captain of the ship. He is, for all intents and purposes, a DMPC at this point, and he is a ranger. He's specifically a tracker, and he excels at navigation, long-range combat with his bow, and he is also an elf of science. He is very curious with the natural world and the ongoings of, particularly during this adventure, the elemental pillars and just kind of everything that the Great Sea has kind of at its oyster. And so Thordane is also a WrestleMania, 2-time WrestleMania champion. And
Don't rub it in.
He is, he's pretty cool. He recently got rid of an evil sword that he had in his possession that now Belbin has. And He's feeling a lot jollier, more jovial these days, with the burden of Calvinesh's sweet nothings no longer being whispered into his ear.
By the way, I feel like this would have been really helpful for us all to know. He's got a bronze turquoise necklace, which gives him lesser water breathing. And he's never used it.
I've got an axe that does that now, it's fine.
He's never done it, though. He has 6 charges of it, and as a support action, he can breathe underwater for up to an hour. He's been holding out on us. Freaking Thordane.
Doesn't he suck at swimming too? Like, wasn't there one time he almost drowned?
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think that's why he got it. It was at the very beginning of the adventure. He messed around. Yeah, that was back during D&D rules where, like, I think a lot of that had to do with, like, your strength and, like, athletics, and he just isn't super athletic, and so he's, like, really dexterous, but not very athletic, and so he was just sinking and not going anywhere and just dying. So he got water breathing, apparently, that he could use if he's feeling it. But
What
that's
the
actually,
heck? He's got all of this stuff. I'm gonna actually give him his bonuses because he's got bronze amethyst earrings, which gives him a +1 to his faith score. He's got all this stuff that isn't even in his character sheets.
Yeah, go ahead and organize that while we're going through the intro. But yeah, Thordain's pretty cool. So he actually has the ability as well to improve healing from medicinal herbs and things like that as a ranger. And yeah, he gets some good passive bonuses for being a ranger. But he is an elf from the Woodland Realm. So here on the map, that is kind of this lower section here in Everlast. Actually, you guys are pretty close to where he's from. But yeah, he's from Vrasukal. But he is currently serving as the ship's captain of Alamnia's Breath and keeping everyone in line, making sure salaries are being paid and everyone is in order. Yeah, and that's what he does. And since Cole is not here, I can go ahead and introduce Luxalia. So Luxalia, she is a shrine maiden from the Silverwood. She is a Glyven as well, Silverwood Glyven, and she's got a mysterious past that she always drops, but doesn't really go much more into detail about. Luxalia is a support character. She has the ability to sling mana all over the place. She's got all kinds. She now has the many colored staves of many different elements. She has light.
She's not gonna become Saruman of many colors, is she?
Yeah, no, basically. that's the point. But yeah, she has the ability to get some sweet heals going, and she kind of supports from the back line. She's not much of a physical fighter. Oh, and she has a Kitsune spirit that she can summon, which is kind of cool too. So yeah, she's good. She's holy. She's pious. Again, everything that Belbin used to describe himself, that's basically Luxalia.
It was actually Luxalia I was describing.
Just the opposite. But yeah, and so that's that. And I am Kyle. I am the Fate Weaver. I am both playing with and against these players as they forge their name in Everlast, as they hunt down these archdemons and free the world of their horrible influence. But before we do dive any deeper into anything, just real quick, Fantasy Forge Studios and Kyle LaFonte own all copyrights in the text, images, video, audio, graphic, story, gameplay, mechanics, and all intellectual properties involved in Everlast. Don't take it and sell it for yourself, but feel free to use it for your own homebrew stuff if you want to do that. And with that being the case, Dane, do you want to introduce our Kickstarter that we currently have right now?
Yes, sorry, I was putting item values in, but he's all updated. He's sick now, Thordain. Sicker than he was. But no, guys, check out the Everlast Kickstarter. So we've got, I guess, technically 5 days left. 5 days left. I can double
5 days left.
5 days left on the actual Everlast Kickstarter. So those of you who are unaware of what that is, it is, again, we're playing Everlast Tabletop RPG. Because of your guys' kindness and generosity and purchasing Coffee of the Realm and Fragrances of the Realm, we were able to hire a full-time artist here at Fantasy Forge Studios, Karo-chan, and she's been making all of the amazing artwork for the world of Everlast, and we've gotten enough of it to be able to make a card game. So we've been working on it probably for the past 2 years, the card game, or at least getting all the art compiled and then really going at the card game as of late. And so yeah, it's a unique trading card game. So right now in Colorado, it's kind of where the base is. So if you want to come to learn how to play, Max and I will be in Golden and then Colorado Springs this weekend. So come join us to learn how to play the Everlast trading card game. But with 5 days left of it, guys, you have the opportunity, if you decide to back the Kickstarter, to get up to 30% off the MSRP price of it. Not only is it that, it's all first edition. So the only way you can actually get the first edition version of the product is if you donate to or if you help back the Kickstarter. If you don't back to the Kickstarter, there's no way you can get first edition stuff for it. So, especially if you want first edition print run of it, you'll get it in June as opposed to August.
Well, you could pay a crap ton on eBay.
That's true. If you decide,
don't resell.
Don't resell. Yeah, exactly.
Don't scalp our
but But as far as the actual Kickstarter goes, if you actually do help back the Kickstarter, we have a bunch of different tiers, including EX battle decks and booster boxes. Not only do you get 30% off MSRP, but you also get a bunch of free stuff. We're actually really close to hitting our first.
Speaking
what
of
are they
which,
called?
we just, as of probably the past 30 minutes, just hit over the $12,000 mark on the Kickstarter, meaning we're 120% funded. And so the goal is now we're working towards these stretch goals. And so once we hit the 12,500 mark, everyone that has pledged to get product will get additional free booster packs. Additionally, once we hit the $15,000 mark, everyone will get a missing Void and Wraith promo from their initial pledge, and if you got a full set, you get another full set of the Void and Wraith promos. And then if you have once we hit the 1750 mark, we unlock more free booster packs for everybody. And then once we hit the $20,000 mark, it'll be more everybody will get the assigned Eclaas promos as well. So yeah, it's very exciting. And if we get all the way up, I mean, again, the chances maybe are slim, but if we get all the way up to 30,000, we will also be producing D6 mana dice, which you can use to track your mana content and all of that during the gameplay. So yeah, it's all original stuff, and so let's push. Let's aim for that $30,000 mark, because that would be sweet. I really want those dice. But we have already funded, and so that's the beautiful thing, thanks to all of your guys' generosity and excitement for the game.
Yep. So as Kyle said, we're already completely funded. However, if you want to add a bunch of free stuff to your orders, it's just free stuff on top of it. Share that link. I posted it in the actual chat for Twitch. So share it with other Discord communities. That is, if you have permission to be able to do so, or just friends and family. Again, it's 5 days, and this is the cheapest you're ever going to be able to get the game, as well as a bunch of free product on top of it. So if it's something that sounds fun, even if you're on the fence about it, it's 30% off, and at the very least, the artwork is really, really cool, and so it's a really fun collector's piece to be able to add that to your just collection, especially if you're a fan of trading card games, or if you have those trading card game enthusiasts in your family or with your friends. They're wonderful birthday gifts. Easter's coming up. I don't know. Put it in your Easter baskets. Whatsoever. Well, it won't be out in time, but you know what I mean.
Belated
You
Easter
get it.
baskets.
Belated Easter. But yeah, feel free to get them. And they're, again, really, really good price, and it goes towards our amazing cause for helping us fund the first 2 sets. And then we'll be looking forward to the next 2 sets coming out in September. So yeah, be good.
Sweet. And with
That's all I
that,
gotta say about that.
let's go ahead and jump into a little bit of a recap of the adventure thus far. So Eeas, they are a group of traveling adventurers, and they are traveling currently right now the inland sea right here, inland strait here, and that separates the 2 halves of the continents to gather the Keepers of the Keys. They just recently left Folden Rock and have on board the Keeper of the Storm Key, which is Aldrich Monteblair. And there's been some shenanigans going down with the pillars. Currently, Eclaas is the holder of the Earth Key, and they found out that there were cultists and elementals and stuff that were siphoning the energy from the Earth Pillar, but now they are the keepers of that. And they had already spoken with and got the attention of King Farron of Feshenfey, who is the keeper of the Sea Key, and then they are currently heading back to Aishan Island to go have this meeting of the keys to figure out what's going on with King Nalgora Cragheim, who is the keeper of the Flame Pillar and the Flame Key. And yeah, they're probably a couple days out from actually arriving. So it was a week. It was a week travel from Feshenfey down to Aishan Island on their boat Elamnia's Breath, and they have already gone through about 4 days of that travel, and so they're more than halfway back to Aishan Island in order to deliver their not their captive, but their passenger, and have the meeting of the keys. They have like a 10-day time frame, since that's when King Farron said that he would be meeting them down at Plomberge. But as they were traveling, they've had a couple really nice days at sea. It's been beautiful weather, whatnot. They decided to use the Luxalia Storm Necklace to charge up the Glyphex cannon. So they currently have a shot of that they can essentially use from their Glyphex cannon right now if they need it. If Azale Doom, the Terror of the Deep, does eventually come and attack the ship again. It'll be
Bring
useful.
it on.
Geez. But they are currently traveling southward, and they came upon a shipwreck. I guess they also found a letter in a bottle denoting that there was potentially stuff in the fog. Don't trust the fog. And in the fog, primarily fog created by Luxalia's storm necklace, they came across a shipwreck, and there was a surviving individual which they were able to grab and take on board Alamnia's breath, and he introduced himself as Horatius. And he is a Veildune elf. So for those who don't know, Veildune elves come from, you guys look at the map here, all the way up here. Little bit of Everlast lore. The Veildune has basically succumbed to something called the decay. And because of that, the city of Veildune, which was once a lush forested area, has pretty much completely gone to desolation. And whatever survivors from that decay of these Veildune elves have kind of spread themselves far and wide within the world of Everlast, and so they're very rare. Something that was very interesting to note about Horatius, though, is he actually has horns, but it looks like his horns have been cut off of his head. I'm unsure whether if he's done that to fit in or not, or whatever the case, but he was on whatever ship was wrecked, and he is the lone survivor of the shipwreck. And so the last thing that happened from our last session is he was brought back onto Alamnia's breath, and he is going to go take some rest, as it were. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn everything over to the party. So it is currently around 3 a.m. In the morning, but it is this definitely doesn't bode well, considering there could be something quite villainous out and about.
But there's no fog right now. So
There
we're
is
good.
no fog right now. That is correct.
Chilling. We're chilling.
We're going to start with 2 days of rolls.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. 2 days of rolls. And so one of the travel mechanics here in Everlast is because they are technically on a ship, they aren't actively walking and doing stuff. And so they can actually do certain things that you would do during a normal rest, such as training, such as, practicing up on some kind of, like, reading books, like arts and things like that. And so if everybody has stuff they wanted to do during those 2 days of travel, let me know, and we can go ahead and roll for those.
I remember Luxalia wanted to study more of the Sunbreaker art.
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead, and I believe that is a knowledge skill check. And currently she has completed 1 or 2 levels. 2 levels.
She's completed 2.
Okay, cool. And so the next one, I believe, is a 11 or 12 DC? I think it's a 12.
Nope. And she gets 2 rolls.
Yeah, 2 rolls for that. And so that was the first day. She found it a little bit difficult to concentrate the first day.
The Rocking Waves. Second day she passes with a 14 or 15. She's got a +1 here. Or sorry, a 15 or a 16. So I'm not sure what the additional +1 is for, but
perfect. And with that, she only needs to read 1 more chapter in order to learn the Sunbreaker art. So
Nice.
Yuki, is there anything that you wanted to do?
Yeah, she's going to continue to practice her hunt and bow skills with Thordane.
Okay.
Showing her the ropes.
I'm going to have you make a attack roll for me on that.
With just the bow?
With just the
attack
bow.
roll with the bow.
Yep.
Okay. 12.
12.
To hit.
You do pass, and you can go ahead and add 50 EXP to your...
Nice. Do I need to roll a second one? Because that's what she was going to do with her...
Yeah,
one.
both times. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, that one is a dirty 16.
Dirty 16. You can go ahead and add 150 experience.
Whoo! 200? Nice. Cool. All right, that's what she's doing.
Well, shoot. Belbin, what are you doing during this time?
Belbin is going to train with the Gladys.
Okay, cool.
Spend
So
some time with my lover. Yep.
as you make your way, where are you doing this training, by the way?
In the bottom of the ship,
Okay.
so that no one
Down in
else can try
storage.
to, yeah,
So as
interrupt me or take it or, yeah.
do your thing. As you make your way down, so this is technically a sword called a Sertang, and it is a 1.5-handed sword, so you can wield it one hand or two hand. It is, because it is one of these weapons, it's actually a dexterity-based weapon as well. I think, Belbin, you might have already had a Sertang. I think you got one from my show.
At one point I had it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can absolutely use this. It is a legendary item, and so the DC is going to be quite high. However, if you do pass with it, you will get a decent amount of you'll get a decent amount of experience with it if you do pass. I'm going to have you make a dexterity skill check.
Alrighty, let's see, dexterity. 7.
Oh, nice.
As you begin to wield this, you are trying to harken back to your martial trainings and your martial prowess, but you're definitely used to fighting with your fists and up close combat. It's going to take you a little while before you get used to wielding a sword such as this. And during the whole time, you just feel yourself almost being criticized. There's no voice necessarily speaking to you, but you can feel almost like you're a pitiable creature as you wield this thing, like you're almost unworthy to do it, and it actually takes a hit on you. I'm gonna have you make a wisdom or I'm gonna have you make a faith survival check for me.
Oh no.
I thought there wasn't a consequence. Faith, let's see. This isn't going to go well.
Surprisingly, I think
7 again.
7.
I've rolled 2 2s.
You take 1 point of misery.
You can't keep getting this, Belvin. You're gonna go.
It's all right.
Is it? I don't know if it is. I don't know if it is.
And this is exactly the feeling that you get after trying to wield it. It's clearly a very valuable legendary weapon. However, it feels unwieldy to you, and you start to feel more and more like you are unworthy to wield this. Perhaps the next day you come back thinking better if you want to continue training with it, but...
Belvin does.
Okay, go ahead and make a dexterity skill check for me.
Of course he does.
The pride. Oh no. Natural 1.
Natural
Oh
1.
my gosh.
I'm gonna have you.
Belvin!
I'm gonna have you make a. This is not good. I'm gonna have you make a face survival check at despair.
Oh, that was a really good one. It's my first good roll, and there's two good rolls. Faith, that'll be 19.
As you, the next day, go and train with this, you have a hunch, you have a feeling that someone is watching you, meaning you cannot actually concentrate during the entirety of this training. You see perhaps the shadow of someone in the corner of the room, as it were.
Who's there? Do I hear anything? Can I go investigate it?
Yeah, absolutely. You go and walk over in that direction, and you see somebody sitting next to basically a bunch of crates, and they look like they are whittling something. And they look up to you and say, and as you approach this individual, you see that it is a Helix. So he is the crippled boy that is on board the ship, and he's whittling away at something. He doesn't have his chair. His chair is next to him, but he's just sitting on the floor looking like he's whittling something. And he says, "Oh, don't mind me. I'm just trying to practice some kind of craft." And you see that he still has his hood over his head, almost as if he's hiding himself. This is something that he is quite used to. But he says, "How come you're not practicing up at the top of the ship? There's not much room." I find it's probably quite difficult to wield such a long blade down here below.
Oh, just like you, I'm trying to perfect my craft just down here.
Is this the first time that you've used a sword like this?
Nope, I used it yesterday.
He nods and he says, "Oh, do you perhaps know of anybody that could train you in using something like this?" I for one, well, when I first came onto the ship, I wasn't much of a sailor, but Barnacle Bill has actually helped me a lot. He's taught me all kinds of things of helping me to tie proper knots, learning how to navigate the masts and whatnot, even with me not being able to use my legs. You might, find a little bit, and he thinks for a moment, and he looks at the sword and he kind of narrows his eyes a bit. I'm going to have you make a focus skill check for me.
Ooh, I don't like this. 11.
11. You can see that he is actually admiring the sword, as it were. This is a beautiful blade. This is something, even from when Thordain had it since the very beginning, you see that there are jewels encrusted on the hilt. It's small. It's a long sword, but it's kind of got this small frame and kind of elegant curves to it. And obviously it has like the elvish engravings and whatnot on the blade itself. And he says, "Where did you get this sword?" As he just ignores what he was thinking about before, almost as if he was distracted.
Oh, I got it from an auction that it was left over at an auction, and I got it.
He looks to you and he says, "Oh, at Fulden Rock? I didn't know that there were any auction." And he thinks for a moment. And he kind of looks to you and he says, "You weren't at that auction."
No, but my stuff was there, and I had to go get my stuff afterwards.
I'm going to have you make a charm skill check for me.
Charming. That's not... I don't even know what my charm is. I never charm anyone. 0. 9.
He looks to you and he says, "That checks out. Well, if this was amongst your belongings, then I'm happy that you have it back. But that's neither here nor there." And you could tell, like, this is something that, like, he's having a difficult time getting kind of grips on. He used to be a thief. He worked for, like, the underbelly, and so he's used to, like, seeing legendary items and figuring out a way to get it. And you could tell that he's actively struggling trying to break that part from him. That's very obvious. As he kind of goes back to his whittling and he says, "Well, if you know of anybody, there are a few elves on this ship that might know how to wield elvish blades. If you want to talk to them, they might be able to actually help you. At least become more accustomed to it."
Yeah, I mean, I like your idea about what you were saying about Barnacle Bill. Maybe I'll ask him, see if he knows anything about blades.
He laughs and he says, "I wouldn't be surprised. That old geezer has way too much wisdom for at least the facade that he puts off."
Yeah. Question, what are you doing creeping around the shadows down here anyway? Why being all creepy?
He looks up and he says, "Well, this is my hammock. This is really kind of the only place that I have any kind of solitude. And I figured since you were over on the other side training, it wasn't that big of a deal to..." And he kind of looks a little bit, not flustered, but kind of embarrassed. And he says, "Not all of us have rooms like you guys." And he kind of smiles and brushes some hair out of his face, and you can see, like, yeah, he's got some, like, serious burn marks that are, like, there, and he's quite distorted. I'm gonna have you make a wisdom skill check for me.
Wisdom. Ooh, 17.
He is kind of talking out of his booty hole. He doesn't like to be around people. Normally speaking, he's kind of been an outcast in society, and it's very clear, based off the way that he looked, that people have pretty much cast him away. And so this is, like, where he is comfortable, is being alone, not around too many people. he's pretty reserved and he's quite antisocial. So that probably explains more about it. He's not actively creeping on you. He's just, this is his only place of solitude.
Gotcha. No. Just so you know, you kind of threw off my groove with my training.
Oh, did I? Was I making too much noise as he basically looks at like all like the scraps of wood that are on the floor? You can't even tell what he is trying to whittle. It's either not to a point where it's clear, or he's just really bad at this as well. So
looks like my sword skills are about as good as your whittling skills there.
He looks and he just says, "Hey, now you got to start from somewhere, right?"
Amen. Just be careful not to take misery points for it.
He nods and he says, "I'll try not to get too discouraged." And with that, you don't get any points for any training with the Gladys these 2 days. But while everything kind of goes down and everybody takes their rest for the evening, the storm by the
doesn't Max get to go? Or sorry, Zill?
Oh, did you not? Yes, absolutely. Sorry.
No, because I went for
Luxalia. That's right. Yeah, go ahead, Max.
I just want to train with my axe.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and make some attack rolls.
Attack rolls?
Strength or physical skill checks.
Physical skill checks. That one.
Yeah, again, it's really difficult to train. Everybody is like trying to do their own thing on board the ship, and with this being such a large battle axe, it's pretty difficult to actually do that without getting in people's way out of fear of literally cleaving somebody. So the first day you're finding it kind of difficult to be able to train. However, the second day,
$15.
You can go ahead and add to your battle axe 150 EXP.
Let's go. How much do I need to get up to A tier?
What was it, 1,500? Something like that?
Yeah, 1,500.
Yeah, 1,500.
I'm 24 away.
24. All you need is one semi-decent roll with your battle axe. So that you're...
I am 24 away, and I can use a Leviathan axe. Let's
keep working on it.
I love it.
Yeah, we got a couple days at sea still, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I got this.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to the current point of where you guys are on your adventure. So the previous night you had just rescued and actually got a decent amount of weapons that you were able to scavenge from the wreckage. And Bree is doing all that she can to make sure to inventory them and put them all basically in storage for if they are needed. However, this entire day of day 2 has been you haven't seen a hide nor hair of Horatius. By the way, where is he staying? Where have you guys stowed him?
Oh yeah, all the rooms are taken, aren't they?
On the plane.
In the captain's quarters. Thordane's gonna be generous.
Okay.
Thordane's gonna be charitable.
Thordane absolutely can do what he can for that. Horatius has been sleeping for this time, which is odd for an elf, considering the fact that elves don't need that much sleep in this game, in this world. And so, yeah, he's been gone for the entirety of probably 16 hours at this point as you get into midday. For Thordane, I'm actually, Dane, going to have you roll a D100 for me.
That will be a 49.
Thordane has left Horatius to his business, and as he has doing his captain's duties, he's taken a decent amount of time at the helm trying to steer into the wind in a generally south-ish direction. He's doing so, and you can see in the very, very far distance what looks to be a set of islands that are coming up onto your radar. These you are familiar with. You did pass them, which essentially means that you are probably about 2-ish days from Aishan Island. And you will be approaching these islands within the night. These are a set of barrier islands, a bunch of small islands together that navigating through them is quite difficult. So you most likely would have to navigate around them if that is the case, which will take you probably a couple hours out of your way to do so. But as you begin to travel south, you can see that today it's not so much of a blue skies in all directions. The wind is actually kicked up a bit, and it's kind of moving around in many different directions. And so you're not able to get a very smooth travel like you have on the day. The water's been a little bit choppy. There could be a storm brewing, which could be good because you can get maybe one more charge of... Actually, no, you only have the one...
One battery.
Battery for that. But... as Thordane has been walking around, Dane, I'm going to have you go ahead and roleplay Thordane for me as
Okay.
Eldreg Monteblair actually joins him up on at the helm of the ship. He is, of course, accompanied by Kokoro, and he seems to have what looks to be schematics that he has written out, that he spent the past couple of days writing out. And he asks Thordane, with you being the captain of this ship, do you know this vessel, the ins and outs of it in every way?
Yes, as the captain, I have to know. As apart from just being WrestleMania champion here on this fine poop deck, I also know the poop that is on the deck as well.
He looks to you unamused as he continues with his conversation, and he says, well, you see, I've been doing what I can to be able to kind of scout out the ship and where I can place another one of these cannons. It was brought up to me by some of the passengers here that another cannon would be quite useful for this ship, just in case we were being chased, and which is why I bring you up, why I come up here to speak to you. That fella that's in your room, is he going to be staying there for long? Because I have to get into your captain's quarters in order to well, at least see if there is going to be enough, at least leverage to be able to hold all of the heavy parts that I have here in place. And he goes ahead and he outlines all of the Glyphex materials. He talks about how heavy it's going to be and everything like that. He says it's still going to be a few weeks before I can complete it, but I want to make sure that at least the hull itself is strong enough to be able to mount this.
Ah, yes, Horatius. He has been out for 16 hours. Quite strange for an elf. However, I can't imagine you disturb him. I can get Bartholomew. What's his name? The first mate.
Balthazar.
Well,
I can get Balthazar to man the helm, and we can go check it out together if that's something you'd like to do.
Yes, that would be wonderful, actually.
Okay. He calls, Balthazar, we need you at the helm.
Balthazar is doing what he can. He's taken his turn up in the crow's nest, and so he calls down and he says, I can do that, Captain, as he crawls down with his peg leg from the crow's nest. And Sariel, she takes her place again up in the crow's nest as he takes control of the helm. The two of you walk down to the captain's quarters, and yeah, do you just enter?
Yeah, we enter. I knock first, see if I hear any come in, hello, any noise from the elf friend.
Make an influence skill check, actually.
I think he's very influential, which is kind of crazy. He's not. 10.
There's no response.
Okay. He's like, well, seems like no one's answering. Well, it is my quarters after all. And he opens the door quietly and kind of inspects before moving in. And he says to Kokoro, I know you don't have a way with words, but you need to be quiet in this situation.
Don't worry, Captain. I've been training my voice.
Well, all I have to say is this voice is still too loud for our good friend. I appreciate a whisper.
Which voice would you like me to have? I've been recording voices of everyone on the ship.
Ah, I see. Thordane thinks to himself, he's like, When I think of a female Glyven, the voice that comes to mind is Luxalia.
Luxalia
just thinks
mode
that out loud.
activated.
Oh my
May
goodness.
Alomia guide you. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's uncanny, Kokoro.
May Alomia
I
guide you.
think she'll love the surprise.
Should I,
No, she won't.
Master?
No, she won't.
Master Monteblair, should I keep this voice like this? And he says, he shrugs his shoulders and he says, "You do sound less robotic, Kokoro." Noted.
I think we can take turns. I'd like to see your Belbin impression one of these days. and he
He's
he
a
laughs
hard
and-
one to judge. He doesn't talk very much.
Well,
Just
hopefully
take
you
him.
get to
I'm not
know
even
him.
there.
That'd be hilarious. Anyways, when he walks in, the Thordane's gonna see if the elf is still sleeping.
He is. And so
Voracious.
he is fast asleep on the bed. You can see that the covers are still over, and it looks like he almost hasn't even moved. He is still breathing, so clearly he is alive still. But he seems to be probably beyond the point of exhaustion. I'm actually going to have Thordane make a knowledge skill check.
Knowledge. 13.
With that skill check, Thordane, you kind of look him over for a second, and you can see that there are deep bags that are heavy set in his eyes. This, again, is pretty atypical for an elf. Elves are, obviously, they live much, much longer lives than most people, but the wary of the road tends to not really affect them physically, like at least visually. He might be exhausted, but this looks like he's like beyond that point of exhaustion, like more so than
Yeah.
Thordane has ever felt in his life.
Yeah, Thordane's like, oh yes, this after 16 hours, this is quite peculiar. And he thinks to himself, he's like, well, we have a medic on the ship for a reason. I don't want to bother Luxalia with this. And he calls out to the deck. He pokes his head out the door and says, Lyra, are you available? And he calls out to her.
Lyra is there, and she does come, and she says, "Yes, what can I do for you?"
You're an elf, is that correct?
I
It's an elf, right?
I
Just
am
a-
an elf. That is correct.
Okay. Yes, our elf friend here, he looks a little worse for wear. Is there anything you can do to help perk him up a bit?
I'm sure he is just exhausted, as she says as she walks into the room. At this point, Aldreg Monteblair and Kokoro are like hard at work, like doing all kinds of measuring and checking to see if like the walls and like the actual like hull of the ship is like strong enough, and they're trying to be quiet, but there's definitely still some knocking and stuff around.
Yeah.
And Lyra, she says, "Well, I can see what I can do," and she walks over and she gently kind of like pats his shoulder and says, Horatius, are you there? And immediately like Horatius's eyes open wide, and he sits up like immediately up, and he looks around from side to side, and she looks to you, Thordane, and looks to Lyra, and he says, "Oh, yes, what can I do for you?" As he kind of like takes like the covers and like covers himself more. He's still clothed. He's not naked, but he's like still clothed. But you can tell like this is a surprise.
Oh, you seem to be out cold. Is everything all right, my friend? I see you're exhausted, but is there anything we can get you to help expedite your recovery? Anything that we can provide for you? It seems like, and he kind of looks at the forehead. Does he know he's a Veildun? Does Thordane know about Veildun? He's met them before, right?
Yeah,
In
yeah.
the Subterran?
Yeah.
I don't know the Veildun all that well, however, is there anything in particular that you need while we're here that is special in particular to taking care of your kind?
He thinks for a moment as he looks into like deep into like Thordane's eyes. You can see that there's not quite a probing feeling coming from him, but like there is like a deep set like kind of like knowledge from him. You're unsure about how old he is, or anything like that, but you definitely, there's like this heavy influence that comes from his gaze as he says, "Potions. Do you have potions on board?"
What kind of potions? Healing potions? Potions of elemental sight? He starts listing all the scientific potions he knows of.
Do you have mana potions on board?
Mana potions. And Thordane thinks to himself as I look through Thordane's
Characters.
Yes, he does. He's got a simple mana potion. He's got 2 charges of it. He's like, "Oh, you mean this?" And he takes out a flask of mana potion.
He swirls it around, and the blue liquid seems, again, kind of manic in nature. Sweet Cole's here, looks like. Kind of manic in nature. He kind of swirl it around for a second. Go ahead and pop Cole's chibi off. And he says, yes, that'll do. And he reaches out to grab it. Do you give it to him?
Thordane's like, "Don't drink it all. Save some." But yes, you could have a swig of it.
He says, he looks around, like, and he pats his, like, chest and everything, and he pulls out what looks to be a small vial, and he's like, "If you could, maybe," and asks for you to pour it into his vial.
He does. He uses a charge of his flask.
And as he does so, he corks it, and he looks, and he says, "Perhaps a little bit of privacy for this."
Oh,
Sariel, or not Sariel, Lyra, she says, "Yes, of course. If there's anything that you need, please feel free to ask. I'm the medic on board the ship, and if I can provide anything from the stores, if you need anything to eat, just let me know."
That's good. Thordane will be like, call over to Kokoro and what's his name? The guy.
Aldreg.
The Aldreg. He says, "Did you get your measurements? We need to give the man privacy."
He looks and he says, "Oh, but one moment." And Kokoro, she responds with, "Yes, but one moment," as she finishes cleaning up what she does and, like, examining the walls and, like, the braces and whatnot. Aldreg, he passes all the tools to her as she's, like, carrying all of them out the door. The group of you do leave Horatius to his healing. But he is awake.
There you go. Interesting. So do Vale Dune depend a lot on mana energy to be able to get better?
I'm gonna have Thordane make a knowledge skill check for me.
All right. Natural 1.
You have no idea. Not a lot is known about Vale Dune elves, and this may be one of the few times that Thordane's actually met them in his life.
There you go. He's like, "Oh, how peculiar. I didn't know that mana potions went so far. For all he knows, that mana potion's been with me for years. It's probably not the best quality, but at least it's mana potion at the very least."
And Lyra, she kind of laughs and she says, "I don't think mana itself degrades. It's spirit. It's spiritual energy from Alamnia. It's eternal."
"That it is indeed, haha." And he goes back and mans the helm and says to Barnabas that he is relieved of his duties.
"It's Balthazar, Captain."
Ah, yes, there's just so many B names out there in the world that are fancy like yours, good sir. I forget.
And with that, Thordane retakes the helm. Zill, I'm going to have you make a elemental skill check for me.
Oh no.
Five. Yeah, during this, ever since, what's his bucket? Horatius has come on board. You've noticed that there's definitely, like, a heavier, like, manic energy that is in the area, like within your vicinity. And the only thing that would be able to point to that would be the inclusion of Horatius.
I go to find Luxalia.
Luxalia is currently thinking about going to read, but you find her down in the dining hall. She is eating a late lunch, and she has some tea that she is also sipping from as well.
Also, I know we have no video, but Cole, can you talk? Maybe.
I'm hearing clicking. I don't know who that's from, but maybe not Cole.
I think that might be for me. Sorry. I don't know how well these headphones can pick up the.
That's you, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway.
Yes. Hi.
Oh, there we go.
Great. Okay. So, I've interrupted your reading. Hey, Luxalia, do you feel anything different on the ship right now?
Make an elemental skill check for me.
Okie doke. Oh no, my dice tower. Oh, it's wrecked, yo. I don't know what's going on right now. Hold, please.
This is why we can't have nice things, Luxalia.
I know.
This is what you get for being a nifty Gauss.
That's true. That's what they all say. Okay, I fixed it. Elemental 9.
9. Yeah, you definitely feel kind of a heightened sense of manic energy as well.
Yeah,
Do you know what
it's another manic Monday.
Oh. So okay. One of these days, you're gonna have to bring me up to speed to this whole mana thing.
Okay.
I know, like, mana somehow lets you control things that you wouldn't normally be able to control. That's about all I got. But if that's what this is, I don't know. I mean, we brought that elf on. The fog's been weird. The sea freaks me out a little bit. I can't swim well. Do I know that my axe lets me breathe water?
Yeah.
Breathe water.
Definitely.
I do know.
Yeah.
I mean, this axe is helping, but still. Thoughts? Like, I don't know what to make of this. This is kind of new to me. Just like, I think this is yet another new voice for Sil.
Definitely does feel a little more manic on board, but
Okay,
I don't know, the
you know.
fog was a little weird, but I mean it is the ocean. That happens. And
You know more about
the
this mana
storm
thing.
So
I mean, I get the heebie-jeebies every once in a while, and that's never a good thing. I know that much. This isn't that, is it? It's not. It's not that.
No,
is
it's
it?
not that.
Okay, so I don't. Isn't mana normally a good thing? People seem to talk about it like it is. So, like, should I be
Yes.
worried? Should I do something? Is this guy? Is this gonna help us somehow?
I don't know.
Luxalia,
Do I know?
I'm gonna have you make a knowledge skill check for me.
Okay. Knowledge 17.
17. As far as what you know from elves of the Vale Dune, they are creatures that have very much deep set practices of mana and mana control. With that being the case, it's not that much of a surprise now that Horatius is on board the ship. That, by the way, did you know what happened at the end of last session? Are you confused?
I mean, I caught the recap where
Okay,
we
cool.
found a ship wrecked and
Yep,
we
shipwrecked.
found Horatius.
Yep, perfect. Yeah, essentially, he Vaildoon elves rely a lot on mana for their everyday, just everything. And so the fact that he kind of exudes this mana could be the assumption that so like it's an individual like that has been using mana for a long time and is kind of essential to kind of like how he lives. It's kind of like an addict, I hate to say, like an addict like getting their fix. That could
Kind of
potentially
like
be.
people who drink a lot of tea. This is Tazil. You know how like when you drink tea, you kind of feel like more awake? But then like if you have a lot of tea a lot of the time and then you stop drinking tea, then you get like headaches and stuff.
Wait. People can afford to drink that much tea?
Yes. Tea's not that expensive, just the nice stuff.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh. Then you know how there's people that you probably know on the streets who like to find some powdered dust and then like breathe it in through their nose a lot?
Yeah, I do know what you're talking.
Yeah. Well, it's then they stop doing that. Then they
Oh,
they
it's
start
bad.
to
It gets bad.
yeah, like that. But like with mana, but like not necessarily a bad thing because like mana's like good, but yeah, I don't know.
Luke Solly, I'm gonna have you make a piety skill check for me.
A what?
Piety
Piety?
skill check.
17.
So the thing about mana is, especially in your practices as a shrine maiden, one thing that you realize is mana needs to be respected. It is not something that is easy to obtain or easy to harness. It takes very, very skilled hands to be able and practice to be able to do that. But you've never heard of people having the ability to not necessarily abuse it, but to consume it for long periods of time. But the one thing that you do know is using mana in the way that it's not intended to is pretty blasphemous as well. So
Also-
Do I
potentially,
get the feeling this guy is using it in a way that he shouldn't?
you have no idea. You haven't seen much of him for the past what was it, 16 hours. And Thordane just found out that he just gave him a mana potion for whatever reason. But definitely you feel kind of this heightened sense of mana. He's definitely a vessel that holds a lot of it.
Well, I will say this, Zil. Whether he uses it well or he doesn't, he's got a lot. He's got a large capacity for mana,
Okay.
and
Also,
that's probably why you feel a little more manic this Monday.
on a not quite related note.
On a snot-related note,
Achoo!
what? May
It's
Allah
that
me
dust.
bless
It's
you.
that dust he breathes.
Um, so I'm sure you might have noticed. Sometimes especially when we're fighting things, there's some symbols that might start glowing from me.
Oh, I thought you meant like the instrument. Yes.
I-
Like cymbals crashing. You don't hear that when you fight?
No, do
Oh.
you?
No.
Okay. Do you know if? And I mean, he's probably typically wearing like, not quite a glove, but
Mhm.
like something for the armor to sit on. He just kind of pulls it back as best he can, because oh gosh, I wrote down where all these are. Think there's
Wait, you
one.
have tattoos? Oh, you're not gonna be able to go to the onsen now.
They're not tattoos. They look more like a brand. That's what they look
Hmm.
like, but like a very
Even worse.
detailed brand.
They're not gonna let you go bathe. in the onsen.
These, and he just kind of clenches his fist a little bit, and it starts glowing a little bit, not a lot, because he's not like using it. It glows just a little bit. Is this related to this mana thing? Do you know? Do you have any idea what this is?
It looks like you were abused, maybe, and someone branded you for some reason.
No. These ones, and he kind of pulls down. Wait.
Oh my goodness, how many are there?
At the moment 4.
Wow.
4 pairs, so 8, I guess. This one actually came. I was helping. Oh gosh, names. Clark. I want to say it's Clark.
I think you're right.
People are gonna
Blacksmith.
think you're part of the Kazuha.
I was helping
like
Clark one night
bad
years
people
ago,
in Glyvenville.
and I dropped something, and I went to go to catch it, but ended up like tripping into the forge.
Yes.
Which,
Are you okay?
I mean, no, but
Oh.
unrelated. And when I came out, instead of having a burn like you would expect from putting your hands in a cold fire that's made to melt metal, I had this.
Intriguing.
And just throughout different points of our adventure, more have shown up.
That's very
Like,
odd.
not related to fire like this first one was. But do you know anything about these? Why they glow? Why they... I mean, you've seen the things I can do in a fight.
Yes. Mostly
Whenever-
get hit.
It's true, I'm really good at that. Lot of practice on the streets. Especially after payday. I rarely made it home those days. Anyway. But if something more unusual happens, these start glowing and a word goes with them. I don't know. We've been talking about all this mana. Do you think it has anything to do with it?
Make an elemental
Maybe?
skill check, Luxalia.
Make a what?
Elemental skill check.
Okay. Not 1. It's my turn, guys.
Oh no. We are rolling hot tonight.
Also, hold on. I have a pizza in the oven that I have to go check on.
Look,
Hold that thought, Phil. I have
What's a
I have
pizza?
food to go check on. Be right back.
Runs
Talk
off as
to
Remy.
Yuki for a second.
He so Luxalia, she looks kind of a little bit dumbfounded at the potential of this. She sees that it glows, but she has no idea what any of this could possibly be. As far as mana and being able to control it, a lot of it has to do with kind of someone's spiritual capacity, but she's never seen wounds. Like inflicted wounds have the ability to grant people manic abilities, and so that would be a little bit difficult. As she gets up, she goes and talks to Remy. Remy calls, "Your pizza's ready, I need help." And so she gets up and she goes in.
Okay. So maybe we continue this conversation when Cole gets back. I don't know, but at the moment, Zill isn't exactly concerned, like for safety, but he's definitely curious. So he's like, "What's going on?" And he's even thinking. He actually goes to find a Kalik.
Okay. I'm gonna have you make a focus skill check for me.
5.
He's hidden pretty well. You do not.
No. Okay.
You don't know his secret hiding place like Belvin does.
That's weird. So, in my searching for a Kalik, who do I pass on the deck or on the boat?
So there are a number of people.
Who do I pass last?
Who do you pass last? I'm gonna have you roll a D10. A D10 for me.
D10. Ooh, good dice. Gotta get my that.
Sounded like something broke.
I dropped the top of the case for my nice dice. 1.
1. The last person you actually pass is Princess Mila.
Actually, this might be the perfect person to ask. Mila, Princess Mila, can I call you Mila?
Yes, of course.
Oh, good. I've never been one for formalities. If you haven't noticed from the pirate night.
You don't need to worry about anything. I consider us friends. So yes, Mila is absolutely fine.
So Mila, you're capable of protecting yourself, right?
I'd like to think so. I think less so with one of those axes that you've given me. I think I'll stick to my staff.
I know I've learned my lesson. I was worried about you and I didn't know what you could do. I've since been informed. But so you can protect yourself outside of, say, typical self-defense methods from someone of my background.
She looks a little confused at this, but she says, "Do you want to be more specific?"
Well, when I was growing up, if I wanted to protect myself, I kind of had 2 options. Either get something sharp or punch them.
I think I could punch someone. I don't know how strong I am, as she
but
flexes her muscle.
your ability to defend yourself is beyond that, right?
Perhaps, yes.
Okay. When you first met us, and not even when you first met us, anytime you're apart from us and then we come back, individuals or just the group of the 5 of us, does something about the feel of the room change?
Oh, whatever could you mean? Sometimes people are stinkier than others.
No, not stinky. How familiar are you with this idea of mana?
Oh, that's quite a difficult thing. Many elves spend many, many years trying to figure out how to harness mana. It's very difficult to do. I myself, I'm not even a master of it. The only reason I have powers is because of the rod that I have.
So, can you recognize it when you see it?
I can recognize miraculous things. I haven't really seen mana used much outside of what you have been able to do. That one night when we were at the cathedral in Fulden Rock, at the temple, and those dead things were everywhere. That was really the first time in my life that I've really seen mana used in such a way. I, of course, believe that mana is used during ritual, and I've seen the implications of that, and I've obviously studied a lot on it, but I can't really say that I would be able to recognize it immediately. But I can recognize if something is miraculous.
Okay.
Perhaps.
Does anything feel different about the ship since, I don't know, yesterday?
She thinks hard for a moment, and she says, well, it's a little cloudier and the seas are rougher today, but how do you mean?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm gonna go try and find Thordane.
Okay. Thordane is back up at the helm of the ship. He is currently sailing.
So, Thordane.
Go ahead, Dave.
Do you want me to do Thornton?
Yeah,
Oh,
go
okay.
ahead.
Oh, Zill, welcome, buddy. Fine day, isn't it, out on the sea?
On the sea, yes. On the ship, we'll see.
Oh, what could ever be wrong? What perturbs you, Zill?
Does the air feel weird to you?
I guess it depends on where you're standing. If you're underneath Barnacle Bill, then it always feels weird.
True. Yes. Beyond that.
Are you talking about the sense of mana in the air that you're sensing?
Yes. So you feel it too.
Oh, I know exactly where it's coming from. It's coming from our good buddy in the other room.
Do we need to be concerned about this? Wait. You seem to know more than me. What is going on?
Well, Lyra seems to think it's okay, so I trust her.
Oh.
our healer.
What does she know about mana?
Well, she's a high tower elf. She's from the mana capital of Everlast.
Okay, but Princess Mila didn't know that much about mana, so just because she's an elf doesn't mean much.
Well, apparently Lyra knows. If you want more information, I would talk to her. About
Okay.
I don't
I'm gonna
know
go find
about
Lyra.
the Veildoon very much. All I do know is they are a peculiar folk, and he starts going into a diatribe about where they came from and how it's now taken over by the void.
And he starts, and Zill just kind of does one of the. But obnoxiously loud because all the clicking and clacking.
You go find Lyra. She is up on deck, actually, and she's just sitting on a crate reading something as the wind is blowing through her hair.
Lyra. Dordain
Yes.
says you're not concerned.
Why would I be concerned?
Do you feel it?
I'm afraid I don't know what you mean.
Are you feeling it, Mr.
I'm not feeling anything, Zill.
The air
Should I
doesn't-
be feeling something? Are you okay? Are you sick? She stands
Something
up. She puts
feels
a
different
hand on your
since
head.
that elf came on board.
Oh, our guest Horatius.
Yes, something feels different.
Well, I mean, it is
Different-
rather odd that he's been sleeping for so long, but don't worry. Thornton and I checked on him, and he is awake, and I think he's recovering quite well.
You don't think he feels manic?
Oh, of course he does.
What do you mean, of course?
Why does this concern you so much? Zip?
I don't know.
What do you know about Veildoon elves?
Literally nothing.
That makes sense. And she closes her book and she says she gives you a little history lesson. So long ago, the Veildoon, and this is kind of similar to the diatribe that Thornton was giving. Long ago, back in the Second Age, the Veildoon elves, they were driven from their home. Oh, is this boring to you?
What?
I'll just get to the point.
Please, thank you.
She kind of like smiles as she recollects her thoughts, and she says, Veildoon elves, they are adept mana practitioners. There aren't very many of them left today, and many of them know deep hidden secrets of mana. It doesn't surprise me that, especially since you do wield mana, that you would be able to feel some kind of connection or draw to this, or be brought to wares of this. Thordain did give him a mana potion to be able to help him, but the elves of the Veildoon, they are regular practitioners of this. He seems to have taken quite a beating from whatever attacked his ship. And she thinks hard for a moment. He told us what he wanted was mana potions, and so we gave him just enough to be able to help him through, or to be able to help him heal from whatever he is healing from.
Well, all I know right now is we've dealt with some shady things recently.
I could understand that. We have been attacked by giant sea monsters. We have, pirates have assailed this ship in the past, and it's considering all that happened back in Folden Rock, it seems that trouble follows us.
We've also dealt with undead, demons, witches. We've dealt with a lot. Witch inns, the male version, obviously not wizard, no, witch inns. And when we're dealing with these things don't feel right. Things don't feel right to me.
What do you feel
Not
now?
like, well, I don't know. It's not quite the same as that, but when I get weird feelings like this, things go wrong. That's why I'm worried. Do I need it? Should I be worried?
If you're worried about the safety of Horatius, I think he will.
I'm
make a
worried
full
about our
recovery.
safety, not his.
Do you think that he's going to attack the ship or anything like that? It seems whatever
That's
attacked
what
him
I'm
seems
trying
be
to
more
find
danger.
out. I don't know.
Well, he should be up and about. If you want to just go talk to him.
Wait, he's up in a bed?
Yes. I told you, we went in and he was awake.
Hmm.
Well, we woke him.
Okay.
That was about 10 minutes ago.
To Horatius.
Zil,
I'm
the
going on like
pizza's
an
ready.
Easter egg hunt.
Here, Sil, the
Oh my
pizza's ready from
goodness.
down below.
Who was that? Luxalia or Kokoro?
It was
I
me.
don't know. Oh.
Look, Talia, why did you think it was Kokoro?
Oh.
Were you here for that when she impersonated you?
Yeah. Wait. Why is she impersonating me?
Because she has learned the cadence of every person on the ship, and Thornton thought it'd be funny if she spoke like Luxalia.
That's terrifying.
I knew you wouldn't like it. Okay, I'm gonna go find Horatius. And
I
actually,
don't like robots.
I'm gonna go back to Luxalia and be like, "Do you want to come talk to Horatio with me?"
Sure.
As I drop my dice.
During all this time, what is Yuki doing?
Well, I guess Yuki is spending this time learning about the word of Alumnia from her guardian Historia.
Okay.
She's just taking a day, you know, just kind of to read things over with her 10 volumes of the guardian Historias that she has. Yeah.
Perfect. All right, well, you
If people walk by, Yuki's gonna be like, "Hey, did you know this about the Guardian Historia?" And just go into a diatribe and talk to them a little bit about it. Yeah,
Zil,
nothing crazy.
you go and you find Luxalia. She is eating her pizza.
Quite good.
Hey, can you spare a slice?
Yes?
Great. Zill eats it immediately.
What do you
So-
think?
Oh, I was so hungry I didn't even notice the taste.
Oh.
Thank you.
It's like a dog.
Also,
Ravenous. You're ravenous.
why is the rum gone?
We never had rum.
No, I just. We're
Zil's
on the
rum
high
is gone.
seas. I made a drink with rum before we started streaming, and it used up the rest of my rum.
Oh.
Still, do we need to talk about how how I was talking about the powdered white stuff? Well, the same can go for some beverages that you might enjoy maybe too much sometimes.
I have no idea what you're talking about. He just moves on. Deflects. Completely deflects.
Maybe that's why you feel weird.
So, because you said you also feel it.
Fair point.
Unless you wait,
Is it the
Luxalia,
tea?
do you want to go get a drink with me tonight?
No.
Oh.
Someone's gonna
we
drive
go-
this trip.
But I followed all the leads. Put on my detective cap. All things point to Horatio, and I didn't realize he was up and about. So want to go talk to him?
Yeah, didn't we already know that he's the reason?
Well,
Didn't we talk about
yeah.
it?
I'm not worried about him being the reason. I'm worried about what the reason means.
Oh, I think it means he's an elf. Didn't I say that he had like a large capacity for mana, and so did I not say that?
You did.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I just think it's a thing. I don't know.
Are
it
we in
depends-
danger?
I don't know. It depends on how he uses mana. Yeah, let's go talk to
Zil-
him.
Okay.
Zill's paranoid.
Yes, Zilla's. It feels close and okay. Actually, Kyle, question for you.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is very much not my our Agent of Light ability. I'm not feeling void flow,
No.
but like, are there any similarities to that feeling? Is it completely different? Like,
I guess the best thing that I could say about like the similarity of it is it seems like there is something unnatural in the air. It seems like, but as far as like the benevolence and like wickedness of it, like there's definitely like a wicked feeling of void flow. Like you're not feeling that. As far as the mana goes, it definitely has more of kind of just like an energizing feeling. But as you can tell, as you've talked with people, like the vast majority of people can't feel this.
okay, because where Zilla's coming from right now, and if we need to redirect, we can. And Cole, you can weigh in on this.
Who's Cole?
Weird. But kind of what's going through my head right now is when Zill gets weird feelings, it has always been because of void.
Yes.
Like, yes,
Up
there's
until
weird
this point.
emotions, but like, this is the first time he's experiencing something of the same type, but not because of void. So since his experience is always like, okay, he feels this before we fight a demon, before we fight a sorcerer, before we go into this pit, before we run into trouble. Like, he is freaking out right now because he's like, guys, the bad things are coming. So if Luxalia wants to try to talk him out of that, now is your chance. But that's like what is driving him to literally scour the entire
Paranoia.
basically. So I don't know how you want to react to that, Cole, if you have any thoughts, or if we're just going to go talk to him.
Thank you for confiding in me, Zill. I think sometimes the supernatural can feel similar. But as someone who uses mana, there is definitely a difference between mana and void. And this, I think, is more of a manic thing than a voidin thing. So I'm not overly concerned. However, I suppose if this self misuses it, then that's a bad thing. But let's go find out.
Kyle, would knowledge of manic and void stuff be piety related?
Yeah, it would be piety related.
13's pretty good, right?
13's pretty good.
This is just a dice decision. We're pulling a Belbin. Wait. Luxalia, is there some connection between void flow and mana?
Well, there's a spiritual nature to both.
Okay.
Kind of like how there's archdemons, which are like kind of spiritual, but then there's also like the what do we call them in your
Halia.
language? Guardians?
Halia,
Halia?
the angels.
Do we not know them as the Guardians?
So guardians are kind of more like saint figures. They're like actual big people like throughout history that are like considered like kind of like the fathers of the church, like holy individuals. Where like the ones that are just like basically the angels are the Halia.
The Halia. Yes. So, while they are both spiritual, one is inherently evil and one is inherently good. So they're similar insofar as they're spiritual beings, but they're different insofar as one is good and one is not.
Okay. Have we made it to Horatio yet?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm imagining we're doing this as we're walking.
Yeah, as you continue your adventure out, or as you continue having this conversation, you make your way up onto the top deck and over to the main doors to the captain's quarters. There's nobody around, but the door is still closed.
That was horrible.
This crackling happens as a
What's
lightning
happening?
shuts out of his
You're
fingers.
supposed to be a knock, and the mic did not play along. My apologies. Everybody's ears.
Is that because of your sigils? Is that how knocking sounds? Because of your weird glowing
I'm looking at like, are any of them
tattoos?
glowing?
No.
Nope.
But you do knock, and I'm gonna have you make an influence skill check for me.
Influence. Huzzah. 18.
18. You hear a voice from within that says, "Yes, who is it? Feel free to come in."
We just opened the door.
As you
At
open the
least
door,
I opened the door.
you see sitting on the bed, pulling his boots on, is Horatius. He looks definitely awake, and flawless as ever, as an elf. He does not look haggard at all.
Okay, this is gonna be interesting because decision time. Oh, hey. I actually rolled pretty good with no charm, so. Hey, buddy. Welcome to the ship.
Horatius, he stands up and he holds his hand out for you to shake it.
Yeah, Zil shakes it.
He grabs in a very firm way, and he gazes deep into your eyes, and you feel similar to how Thordain felt, like this deep sense of kind of ancient knowing, as he looks to you and he says, "Thank you for saving me," as he lets go of your hand and he offers it to Luxalia. What does Luxalia do?
Pleased to meet you.
Do you shake his hand?
Say that again. Sorry.
Do you shake his hand?
Yeah.
Cool. It's just normal. No one's acting weird. It's just normal conversation.
No. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure.
So, what can you tell me about mana?
I know a lot of things about mana. What would you like to know about it?
I don't know. The ship just feels more manic.
Then when? As he kind of smiles, he goes over and he pulls one of the chairs that are kind of at the captain's table, and he offers the two of you a seat. As he sits down, he pours what looks to be just water into a cup and offers it to you. He's quite at home.
Zil looks at the water.
Don't worry, it's
Little
purified.
disappointed.
It was boiled.
Little disappointed, and drinks it anyway.
Yes, but what would you like to know about it? As far as, does it feel different as opposed to when?
Yesterday?
Perhaps it does have something to do with me?
What?
He looks at you and he gives you this chuckle, laugh, and he just says, "You haven't done much traveling, have you? Or at least met any of my kind before?"
So much traveling. You're the first of you I've seen. Although a lot of people think Thordain are one of you.
Ah.
He's not.
Well, the ship's captain, he seems to know a lot about the ways of the world, young as he is.
How old is Thordain?
I don't think he's crazy old for an elf. He's way older than everyone else, but
700.
Yeah, I think
No,
he's,
I think it's
he's
like
100 and
200.
I think he's 190 something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still pretty young.
Yeah, he's so young.
Well, let's just say that
How long since we've left Helix?
it's been about a year and a half.
Okay, so Zill's 21, 22 at this point.
Ish, yeah.
Did he start at 20 or 22? I don't remember. I've got it written down somewhere. Anyway, not important at the moment.
But yes, what would you like to know about me?
Why can I feel it now?
Well, that depends. As he grabs your hand and he lifts up the sleeve of your arm to reveal your sigils on your hands, and he says, "Now that's particular, or that is interesting, isn't it?"
My wounds? Trying to play dumb.
Yeah, yes, of course. These wounds, they look almost like writing. I felt it when I shook your hand, and this is curious. And he narrows his gaze and he looks at them, looks at like what this writing potentially is, and he says, "In all of my seasons here in Everlast, I can't make out what this text says. Do you
Can you
perhaps
tell me-
know?"
No. One day I fell in a fire and I came out with these. And he points to the ones on his wrist. And then the others just showed up.
lets go of your arm, and he relaxes his position again back in his chair. And he says, "It is curious. Well, look like you came here looking for information, and it seems like I'm the one who's learning something." As he pours himself a drink at this point, and he takes a sip.
Is it still water?
Still water, yeah.
Dang it. Okay. The main reason I came here. You have somehow increased the mana on this ship. I don't really know what that means. I don't really need. Are we in danger?
I'm actually quite impressed that you even noticed. It takes a very skilled user of mana to be able to sense that, the presence
Why,
of it.
thank you.
He smiles and he says, "Mana is everywhere. It's in all living things. It is the spirit from on high that comes down and, well, gives life to every living soul."
Sometimes has light up tennis shoes when it runs.
He looks to you and he's like, "That's another thing that I'm learning for the first time. What is a tennis shoe?"
Oh, well, you see, where I'm from, we have this awesome sport where you hit a ball over a net with a branch.
He nods and he says, "Duly noted. Wherever you're from, I'm gonna just guess. You are Glyven, and you look to be of Silverwood descent. So, from the Silverwoods."
Wow. Did you just judge me based on my looks?
I did.
Typical men.
The way you look can tell you a lot about a person.
Yes, like I can tell you are an elf of Vaildun.
Exactly. It's good to be observant. In fact, I find that as one of my, well, I've been around the block for quite a bit. And I find that being observant is one of my key traits. I've visited the Silverwood on many occasions, and I've met many of your kind. Many different kinds of Glyven, from good to not so good to, well, let's just say those that I perhaps would not like to meet again. And he kind of smiles nervously as he says that. But you seem like one of the... Well, you seem well practiced in the ways of mana, because I can feel mana dripping off of you.
That's a weird way of describing it, but thank you.
I'm sorry. I'm perhaps maybe not completely eloquent with my words. I spend a lot of time alone, you see.
Dripping's just an odd adjective.
I apologize. I'll make sure to use something more appropriate next time.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you want to ask, or did you just come to check in on me?
With this increased mana, are we in danger?
Well, I would say that we're much safer here than where I previously was. You found me in a shipwreck, after all.
True.
And I will tell you that none of those people on that ship, I really felt that presence of mana like well, it seems like many of you have on this ship. I think you're quite a bit stronger than where I came from. Than the crew of where I came from.
Sometimes I get some feelings, and when I get feelings, things go wrong. So I was worried.
It's very good to be wary of the things of this world, especially those that are unknown to you. That's how I've been able to survive for so long, is going into everything with a little bit of apprehension. And knowing. It's good to know what you're up against. It's good to know what you're dealing with. Bless you.
Thank you. Okay. Well, sorry to grill you. Welcome aboard. I was a little worried.
I do have to ask before you do leave. I have kind of been out for quite some time. Where is this ship headed? It seems we're headed south.
At the moment, we're on our way to Aishan Island.
Aishan Island. He smiles, and he looks at you, and he says, "Do you mind if I accompany you?"
Well, you already are?
Can I make an insight check or something equivalent?
Make a wisdom skill check, yes.
No! Sorry, my dice tower's acting up. Wisdom, I think that's a 14.
14. Yeah, you look at him almost as if perhaps this is where he was headed to in the first place. He seems almost relieved to hear that you're heading to Aishan Island.
Okay. Did you have business there on your own? Mysterious man.
Well, the ship that I was on was headed to Aishan Island, particularly Takai Town. It was a merchant ship, and we had been sailing for quite a long time. That is until the mist came. Until the fog, an endless fog, seemed to have taken them. We sailed around for what seemed like weeks, getting lost. We left originally from Grandian, and as you can see, we are somewhere out in the middle of the inland strait, and he looks out the window and he says, "If I were to guess," and he pretty much pinpoints your exact location by just like looking at the sky. We're here, and he points on a map that's open on the table. If you are headed down to Aishan Island, you're near but a couple of days away. But as you can see, we were blown way off track, being lost in that fog.
You seem well traveled.
I am. I've been, as I said, a few seasons here in Everlast. I've traveled the sea. I've traveled all through the Great Peninsula. I've been all the way through the Frigid North. I've gone all the way down to the Glyvan territories, the Woodland Realm, even in the vast deserts of the Pale.
How
Yes.
recently were you in the Silverwood?
That must have been 150 years back, give or take.
Oh, I see. It's been a while then.
It has. I do plan on visiting there once again at some point.
Okay.
When you don't live as long as I have and not be searching for purpose, if that
How
makes
old are
sense.
you?
Far too old. As he kind of like moves like his joints. So like one thing to mention is in this world, elves are not immortal like they are in Tolkien's world. They do age and they eventually do die. They don't show it, but they can feel it. Basically like within. And he says, far too old. It's often with me being on the road for as long as I have, it's hard to know exactly the years and the seasons they pass, and it's difficult to truly track that.
Okay.
What I seek is adventure. What I seek is the next new exciting thing. And being on this ship proves to be quite exciting. You're individuals that I've never seen where I haven't seen in quite some time. As I had mentioned, you are overcome with mana, and that's intriguing to me. Very, very few Glyven and humans carry such a great power within them.
Who do you answer to?
How do you mean? I answer to myself and myself alone.
Interesting. There's no nothing greater than you then in your realm of existence?
No, there's plenty that is greater than me. I'm nothing compared to, and he looks up. There are those that are much greater than me. And that's how I know that I am merely just flesh here on this Everlast. Living as long as I can until I one day am returned to wherever people come from.
And what would that be, do you think?
Depends on who you ask. There are many cultures that say when someone dies, they are judged and they are sent to Landisframe. There are others who say that believe in other faiths, other creeds, that say they go elsewhere. There are those who also say that nothing happens. I have visited and spoken with and have learned many things from the peoples that I have visited, and it's all quite confusing, really. How can one really know where you eventually end up?
And what do you say?
Perhaps that's the answer I'm searching for.
I see. Well, I think we have some extra copies of a good book that we bought recently. I'll lend you a copy.
Oh, what book is it? I've read many on occasion.
Oh, I forget. I above game. I forget the name. What is it called? In the...
I'm assuming the Guardian Historia, that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The Garden Historia.
Ah,
It's good read. Good read.
it's a classic, and he begins just quoting from memory the Guardian Historia, many, many passages to you. Yes, I've read it a time or two. It's always good to read. It's always good to know. It's always good to be observant of the things that are around you. Got to keep an open mind, right?
Yes, I see that you are a man of great smarts, but have you read it with your heart?
What do you mean by that?
I can tell that you are a learned man, I can't even imagine you're probably 1,000 years old or something. But, I don't know how old elves are. Or how long they live, so there's that. But, well, I was searching once too, though I didn't know it at the time. And, well, I stopped searching simply with my emotions and started discovering with my heart, as it were, that there's more to life than just knowing things or controlling others, and that there's a greater power called Alomnia, and he wants a relationship with us and wants to know us and love us, and us to know and love him. And anyway, I won't get too much into it, but I guess I was just trying to ascertain where your loyalties stood, whether with Alomnia and the Guardians, or with the world, or Alomnia forbid, the demons whom we are set against, as it were?
These are all very deep questions, ones that it's actually very intriguing to see someone so young, so interested in. And he gives you a smile and he says, I will tell you, if this puts your mind at ease a little bit. He points to the book, The Guardian Historia, and he says, of everything that I've learned, of everything that I've experienced, of every culture, every creed, every religion that I've experienced in my time, this one is the most true.
Good. Well, that is all I needed to know. I simply needed to know if you were friend or foe, and I hope, for both of our sake, we can continue down the path toward friend.
You saved me, both of you. Everybody here saved me. You could have just left me out on the sea to drown. My adventure continues because of you. And I thank you for that. Because of that, I would hope that we would become great friends, great travel companions. And if there's anything that I can do to assist you and your crew, at least for the time that we're together, I'm more than happy to. I will pull my fair share and pull my own weight.
Glad to hear it. Zil, do you have anything else to say to our new friend in the making?
Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for receiving our barging in.
I'm happy to know more about you, and I look forward in the coming days to learn more about your companions as well. You're very curious to me, and I'm quite intrigued by each of you.
Well, welcome aboard.
And he smiles and he nods and he says, happy to be aboard. And with that, I think we've all deserved a nice bit of relaxation, don't you think?
Yes.
Good. He stands up and he goes over and he sits back down on the bed and he takes his boots off and he lays back down under the covers. He doesn't close his eyes, but he just stares out the window that is kind of directly at the front of him, and he says, I think I'm gonna rest a little bit longer, but you do what you can to relax and rest too. I can't foresee much trouble. The skies look a little... And he stops for a moment as his eyes focus on the Glyphex contraption that's actually at the back of the captain's, the little rod and stuff that goes up through the back of the ship, and he's just like, I am curious though, one quick question before you do head out. What is that? As he points over to the reactor that Aldrich Blair had built.
I don't know. Technology confuses me.
Seems that this ship is full of surprises. Seems that fate has brought me in the right direction. And he basically kicks his feet up and begins to close his eyes and rest.
Wonderful. And Luxalia will turn in for the night because it's almost midnight in her brain. So, gotta head out. But love you guys. And
By the way,
happy birthday.
thank you.
Soon, in 15 minutes, 13 minutes.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So, thank you guys, and I will see you later.
Yep, sounds good. See you, Cole.
Sequel.
And with that, both Zil and Luxalia depart, and you feel this sense of kind of relief that floods over you. You really feel like you can relax for the rest of the day, and things just seem pretty positive for the outset. Which brings us to Yuki. Let's go ahead and jump to Yuki. So as you have been talking to people about the good book and whatnot, you find that people are quite busy doing their stuff, and they don't seem to be paying all that much attention or mind to what you are saying, other than pretty much oh, that's nice, that's great, or it's just yeah, I'll read this when I have time, as you continue to do your thing. Is there anything specifically that you want to do? Any people you want to talk with, or whatnot?
Well, I mean, she's going to spend some time just really kind of going over it because it's kind of been her first opportunity to really like read through it, but it's kind of overwhelming to her as well, so she's taking it in bits. So I would say after about like 2 or 3 hours of going, she's gonna wander a little bit and see if there's anything that anyone needs help with in particular, and if not, she's gonna go talk to Thordane.
Yeah, as you walk around and you see that everyone's just kind of doing their thing, you see that Belbin seems to be coming up from below deck. He's got the sword in his hand as he goes into his room, and he clothes himself into his room. He doesn't even acknowledge you as you walk by him.
Wonder how he's doing. I wonder if any of that sunk in from me talking to him about that sword. Hopefully it's not too far gone. I trust him though. She's thinking in the back of her mind as she walks past him in his room and continues, I guess, up onto the deck.
Yep, Thordane is at the helm, and you approach him. Oh, what can I do for you, Yuki? Seems everybody's in quite a chipper mood today.
Oh yes, well it is a good day. My brain kind of hurts. I've been thinking quite a bit through the Guardian Historia. It makes sense, but it's just a lot to take in, especially after not really have read it the whole, like my entirety of my life. It's not fantastical in a sense, and she's basically goes into a diatribe on kind of her first experience really kind of going through it, and she's like, it makes sense, however, it's just so much. Like it's so densely packed.
There are many elves, even in the extensive Hightower, that even though we live long lives, that haven't been able to crack the secrets of it. In fact, that's what the High Priest and the King of Hightower, that's what his job is to discover more about this. And so I wouldn't worry yourself about I wouldn't worry yourself too much about uncovering any secrets that it has hold. What does it say to you? I think that's the most important thing. To be able to look at it, and you can see that in Thordane's mind, he's read it, he knows about it, but it's not something that's like first and foremost, like at the front of
Well,
what he.
From what I know,
knows.
I got to the part where when there was the division itself, and how my kind was created, where my kind is cursed itself, which I feel like I've done nothing. I understand that the decisions of my ancestors have created me how it is, but I guess for me, as you being an elf, of you being on the side of Alomnia, I want to be able to use even if it is a curse, I want to be able to use my curse for the betterment to bring people to Alomnia, is what she says.
Many millennia have passed since that tragic event. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I think there are very few who really read into the fact of the prejudice over Drakons for the decisions that they made in the past. I do not think that you should be held accountable, just as not all elves are holy creatures. There are such things as dark elves, and they are wicked to their core. Maybe not all of them as a whole, but the vast majority of them that I've seen as I've traveled throughout the Subterran have been wicked and brooding creatures. They are also descendants of those who stood against Belial the dragon.
And that brings me to the point too. There's a distinction between elves and Draken. What about Vaildune elves? I don't know if you saw our guest, but
Horatius, that's
yeah, Horatius. I've seen actually one of my good friends is a Vaildune elf. However, some would say that he's cursed too with the horns that are upon his head. However, I worry that he's also ashamed of his past with the fact that they're gone.
Well, between us, when we talk about the faiths of this world, there was definitely a division amongst many of the elves. After the Great Flood and the Great Sea came into place, there were those who decided to stay in Feshenfe, and obviously, over time, they've adapted to be able to live beneath the waves quite as easily as they are above ground. Those in Hightower have dedicated themselves to the study of ancient texts, religions, particularly to the study of Alomnia. And we call them High Elves for that specific reason, as they are seeking higher knowledge and higher truths. The elves of the Woodland Realm, well, they seem to have parted from their ways. They still believe in Alomnia, but they are definitely more concerned with the things of this world. However, the Veildune elves, they completely separated themselves from all of society. And actually, for much of the Second Age of Everlast, they started using mana. And their current form is what it is because of their worship of the earth. I think it's quite similar to how Glyvans were transformed. The actions that we have here in, this here Everlast, they leave lasting effects whether we mean to or not. And so, much of my time has spent beneath Everlast, and hence why my complexion is the way it is. I am often mistaken as a dark elf, but I am not dark elf. I don't think I even have any dark elf in me. I am from the Woodland Realm, and I am a woodland elf. However, my choices and my time has changed me to what I am today, and I would assume it's the same for those in the Veildune. They worshipped the earth. They worshipped specifically the nature, not from the creator itself, but the actual things of this world, and because of that, they grew horns and whatnot, kind of differentiating themselves from us. While not distinctly evil, I personally believe that they live in a world of unreality. Perhaps it is fate of what brought them to them, or perhaps it was providence, whatever you decide. Their choices are very clear. As your ancestors' choices were very clear as well.
Do you think the reason why he cut off his horns, or why his horns are gone, is because he's afraid of those prejudices?
Perhaps. I don't know much about Horatius, but he seems like a good fellow.
Well, is he still sleeping? Is he...
No, he's awake.
Oh.
Yes, actually, Lyra and I treated him. We gave him some mana potion, and he should be right as rain.
Well, I may go talk to him, if that's the case. And she's like, thank you, Thordan. That was very insightful.
Good, I'm happy that I'm here. I'm always here to help. I am not only the captain of the ship, but I am also a man of deep knowledge.
Yes, you are, Thordan.
More people need to respect that. As he says, half joking as you walk away.
Okay. Yeah, Yuki knocks on the door and says, Horatius, you there?
Make an influence skill check for me.
It's a 15.
Yes, do come in.
Yuki comes in and sees Horatius. I'm assuming he's looking a lot better than he was when she saved him.
Yep, absolutely. He is looking immaculate and clean, and he is, again, over the side of the bed, sitting, putting his boots back on as you walk in. He stands up, and he greets you, and he says, and another one of the crew. Thank you for saving my life, as he holds his hand out for it to be shaken.
Yeah, Yuki shakes it and says, you don't need to get all prepared and dressed for me. I'm just here to check in on you. How are you feeling?
Much
you
better.
were in quite the sore state when I picked you off of that plank. I was afraid you weren't going to make it.
And I am forever grateful for you and your companions. You have done me a great service of preserving my life for whatever years I have left.
Well, I do have some questions, if you don't mind me asking.
Please. He sits down and he grabs a new glass and he fills it with water and he gives it to you.
This guy, he knows what he does and how he hosts his guests. Yuki drinks the water and says, pardon me for being rude and not introducing myself. My name is Mistletoe Yuki. I'm from the city of Flamongolith, and me and my companions are obviously on a journey across Everlast. We go by the name Eclaas Eeas. The Senders.
Yes.
We have been charged with many a duty here in the land of Everlast, and we're happy to have been able to be of service to you. I see you're a Veiled Dune elf. Pretty rare to see them. I've only ever known one Veiled Dune elf in my life. Actually, my best friend was a Veiled Dune elf.
He looks quite intrigued, and he says, do tell me about your friend. I have met very few Veiled of my own kind in my travels, in my time as well.
What is there to tell? There's a lot to tell. He's actually the reason I'm out here on this journey. When I was in Flamongolith, I come from the Mistletoe family. We're known for our instrument making. And I was kind of in a nowhere stance, whereas I wasn't very good at my craft, and so I was no use to my family. And if anything, I was kind of an outcast. So I was kind of thrown to the wind as not being useful. However, upon meeting my friend, he went by the name of Fife, the Veiled Dune elf. Oftentimes, and she points to his head, oftentimes his complexion was that of wintertime. I don't know if that was just because he was in Flamongolith itself, but I gravitated towards him. He was very strange in the best kind of way. I think I needed it in my life to get me out of the funk that I was, and he convinced me that there was a world out there to explore, but he excelled in the bardic ways of the lute. I think it's the lute. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Okay. But in our adventures, unfortunately, long story short, we were separated, and I don't know if he is still alive. And actually, she takes off her gloof bag and kind of rummages through it a little bit and takes out the hat that she got from Lady Zilla of Zillan Manor. This is all that I have to remember him by. However, if it wasn't for his sacrifice, I know I would not be here.
He kind of looks a little bit perturbed and sad by this, and he says, first and foremost, I'm sorry for your loss. Hopefully he is still out there, and hopefully you will meet him again one day. One thing that did intrigue me about what you were saying in your stories, you said you were from the Mistletoe family, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
15
Mistletoe at your service.
15 years back, I was around, actually in the Rayla Tundra, and I came across a very curious instrument. He stands up and he goes over to his belongings, his bag, and he pulls out what looks to be a flute. And he says, do you recognize this? And on it, it has the Mistletoe logo on it.
Mm-hmm. It seems to be from my family's make. I mean, I'm assuming she recognizes it as her family's make.
He takes it and he begins to play a tune, very skilled at what he does, like an expert at it. And as you sit and listen, he says, ne'er in all my years have I played something with such crisp quality. This has been my companion ever since those days 15 years ago, and now I can't picture my life without it.
And Yuki takes out her harp and she says, this is all I have to my name. It is my own craft, and it's nowhere near worthy of the name of the Mistletoe family. However, I understand where you're coming from. This instrument itself, I couldn't pick, even though it's not perfect. It's perfect for me, and she strums it.
And he looks and he says, it is very fine quality. And he begins to match what you're playing. It's something that you can tell it takes him very little time to be able to learn and to be able to play. And as you kind of play your instruments together, it kind of gives off kind of almost this lullaby-like theme, this lullaby-like tune. And you begin to actually start to feel yourself getting quite drowsy by this. And he notices it and he stops playing and he says, wow, it's quite almost magical what you're able to do with this instrument.
Well, what I lack in my instrument making, I have learned to utilize in the actual playing of it, although your skill far surpasses mine. I could only hope to be as good as you one day.
My skills
However,
are many years in the making.
and I can tell, if it wouldn't be too much of an ask, especially as we're making our way to Aishin Island itself, I think the crew would love to hear you play for the rest of them, if it's okay.
He thinks
I
for
think
a
it's
moment,
wonderful.
and he says, I think I might be able to be convinced of that. If there's anything that I've been able to bring is at least smiles to people's faces from what I'm able to do with an instrument. And, but I don't want to do it alone. I would like for you to join me, Mistletoe Yuki.
Of course. Of course. I mean, I think the magic of my playing has worn off with the crew. I think they're pretty used to it at this point. But I would be more than happy to accompany you. But that begs the question. What were you doing out there on the plank of wood? Why were you in the middle of the ocean? I mean, we found the bottle of your note missing. What brings you to the middle of the inland strait?
He actually hesitates to answer that. As you can see, like, his eyes kind of almost like gloss over. And then immediately they kind of snap back. And again, like, this kind of like old deep knowledge begins to seep into you as he locks eyes with you. And he says, I'm a traveler. My primary goal is always changing, but it moves with the wind. My current adventure is making my way to Aishin Island, and I was able to board a ship from Port Grandium. That is until we got lost in a fog, a dense fog that followed us for near weeks. And during that time, there was something just beyond our sight, beyond the horizon, that was stalking us.
And that would be?
I don't know if you... And he hesitates. What do you believe of the afterlife?
If you would have asked me that question a month ago, I would say of only what I've experienced in our time in, especially the Great Peninsula. We've encountered quite a bit of some shocking things, including the undead, which is perturbing. But I would say that for me, it's a hope of bringing myself closer to Alomnia in the end. I believe in the void, and I believe in Landisfrane. From what I've seen, I still don't know much about it, but I do know one thing. The grace of Alomnia is what has gotten us here, and what we've been fighting is purely against the void itself, self-proclaimed, that is. So I'm convinced that that's what is real.
Is that what guides your crew's morality? And the things that you do is your dedication to not just your purpose, but to something that is higher, something that's more ultimate?
I can't speak for everyone. I know, especially Luxalia herself. I don't know if you've met her yet, but she's a blonde Glyven. She's very, very devout, and I have a lot to learn from her. But
yes, I do know her. I just had conversation with her not too long ago. Her and Zill, I believe it was.
Oh, Zill as well, yes. What a fine lad he is, and he's come a long way in his journey. He was an orphan after all, and I think he has found that purpose. I think each of our purposes are different from how they're portrayed, but I do think we have a common goal, and that is to bring the peace of Alomnia to the world, whether or not we all know it in the end. But, I mean, myself, I've only just discovered that that's what it is for me. What do you know about Malvish and the Void?
He thinks for a moment and he says, a lot, actually. I am well learned. Your captain is definitely well learned when it comes to things of this world, but not only am I well learned when it comes to books, but as far as wisdom and the things that I've experienced and the many cultures that I have had contact with. I know about as much as any person could. perhaps about such subjects.
And that's my question. You know a lot, and you definitely seem learned. But do you believe in this?
With 100% certainty.
To be around for as long as you have, I'm sure you've come to this conclusion in many ways. However, I know for my companions and I, it was something that was real, and it's something that we've had to deal with. Not only have we fought the generals of Malvish himself, but Malvish himself we came face to face with.
He looks.
And it wasn't.
He looks at you, and he just like, you could tell he holds your gaze, and there's that deep knowing. I'm gonna have you make a wisdom skill check for me.
That's pretty good. 14.
You get the impression that he believes you.
It's hard to explain. I know it sounds crazy,
Not crazy at all.
but when we were on our adventure in the Great Peninsula, maybe we did some things that we weren't supposed to. However, we came face to face with him, and the sheer power that he had. There was no one who stood a chance against him. In fact, if it wasn't the grace of Alamnia, we wouldn't be here. As in, I think you could tell where I'm going with it. We were completely slaughtered by him. But we were
Yet
given a
you
second
live.
chance. You're given a second chance, and again, what that was and why we're still alive, or why we're alive now, I still don't know. But I've come to learn. I think it's the grace of Alamnia, and I think it's the purpose that we are put here on this, in this world of Everlast.
Well, that brings up the question that I asked. So clearly you believe in the grace of Alamni, or you're starting to. You're learning to kind of understand more about this world, and not just a faith, but the facts of what are. And that brings a question about what you believe about the afterlife. What about those that don't make it? What about those that are rejected? What about those that are, and he looks to you and he narrows his gaze, that are cursed?
Preaching to the choir, and Yuki points to her horns and her wings, and she says, "It's funny. I've been wrestling with this myself. I know the tales of back in the day, how Draken themselves were created. We're cursed because we went against Alamnia and we sided with the Void. We sided with the dragons. But I also know from my buddy Fife, the Veildun are also cursed in a sense. And Thornton confirmed that. Again, a learned elf he is. One advice that I got from him that I have to mull over a lot is, it's not the sins of our ancestors that define us. Of course it's important, and it's what makes us our appearance today, and it's what makes us who we are today. However, just because I'm a Draken doesn't mean that I can't bring people to Alamnia. Just because you're a Veildun, speaking of which, I have a question to ask you after this, but just because you're a Veildun doesn't mean you can't do the same thing, even though Thornton said that the Veildun were cursed because they worship nature above Alamnia.
Yes. There is deep magics within this world. Deep magics that exist. This, while all of this that we see is the creation of Alamnia, there is another side that does seek to overcome. What do you know about the Void? What do you know about Void Flow?
Yeah. Well, I mean, unfortunately, we've experienced quite a bit in our journeys. It's corrupt. It seems to be a perversion of what we use as mana, and Yuki takes out her sword from the side and like her normal just Draken abilities of like producing manic power. It's inherently different and it feels different. When we're around Void, it seems perverse and it seems evil. However, I don't get that feeling from mana.
I think the answer to this question when it comes to the Veil Dune is everything is not always what it seems. Their worship of nature, perhaps while geared towards the worship of Alamnia, the worship of mana, perhaps they were worshipping something else, which is why. And he thinks for a moment and he says, those horns that you have, those wings, the scales that adorn your flesh, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Everybody makes mistakes, and everybody has a truth that they live by. But not everybody wants to believe the truth. I've spent my entire life seeking truth. What I saw out there on the sea, it tells me everything contrary to what I've been able to see in the past, what I've been able to experience in the past. What I saw out there was the dead come to life. And with your... And he thinks for a moment. With your recollection of dealing with the dead, it only seems to bring these realities into the forefront of my mind. What happens to those that are not dead? What happens to those that are cursed? Some wander the seas eternally. You discovered me.
Max, I think your microphone is just getting wrecked, yo.
No. Is that better?
Yeah. All right, go ahead, go.
Wandering
Not
the
sure.
seas.
My apologies.
No, don't worry.
It's all good.
There are those cursed to wander the seas that seek the destruction of others. There are those who walk the lands that seek the destruction of others. But why? I seek truth.
For Frodo.
I've traveled and visited many cultures in my time.
By the way, thank you for the raid, everyone. That's crazy. Holy smokes. Welcome in. Welcome
Thanks,
in. Welcome in.
Dorkins. Welcome in. When I have experienced and traveled the world, in my time I have met many people, many cultures, but never the dead come back to life. There are those who've sought the downfall of others, and there are many who believe in many different creeds. But what I believed is true has been questioned. How can something that has died been brought back to life? And there is only one reason for that. Something perverse is in this world. Something that seeks the power of life and death, which is why I seek answers. For the first time in all of my years and all of the seasons that I've lived in Everlast, that I've been observing, watching, experiencing, this is the first thing that has been contrary to what I have seen. I will go with you to Aishan Island. Do you know of the Flame Pillar?
Can I make some sort of check? I mean, Yuki feels like she trusts him, but she wants to make another something or other.
Okay, make a wisdom skill check.
Like
for
some
me.
wisdom skill check. 15.
15.
Mhm.
He seems quite determined in his expression, almost as if like he has like a look of pleading to you in his eyes.
We know very much about the Flame Pillar. What about it are you perturbed about?
There are many elemental pillars that exist. The Earth Pillar, the sea pillar, the sky pillar, and the flame pillar. All of them are representations of the creation of this earth. Some call it myth, some call it truth. But there is no doubt, whatever side you fall upon, that mana runs within these pillars and holds deep truths, deep knowledge. The flame pillar, it holds the power of life and death. After experiencing what I had, the destruction of my crew and my ship, this was a question that I was pondering as I waited to drown, as I waited to die. If there is something that exists within this world, it throws questions into everything that I know. The truth that I know. Death is not final. I need answers. And those that protect that pillar might have those answers for me.
And this brings us to the question, is this the reason why you're going to Aishan Island? Is to seek King Nalgort Kragheim's counsel?
It is. Now it is.
It seems you are in the right place at the right time, as we are going to the meeting of the pillars.
He looks to you and he narrows his gaze, and his face, his expression softens, and he says, I knew there was more to you than what I can just see from what I can observe. It is clear that you and your companions are quite powerful, and there are many secrets that are within you. And that makes me excited. It's been a while to feel this feeling. For hundreds of years have I lived, and have experienced a great deal. But the power that you and Eeas holds is something different, something special. And he thinks, and that makes 5 of you. There is one that I have not met. Bring him to me. I'm curious to talk with the last of your company.
I can do that. However, I will warn you, he's a wonderful Glyven who has been shaped by the world, yet
You and I are shaped by the world, as he points to...
Yuki is really racking her brain in a way to help him kind of understand what he's about to get into. He means well, however, compared to Luxalia, Zil, and myself, he may be very, very different in his approach. However, he is a good man. I think he does seek the truth. Just be patient with him. He might come off a little bit gruff, I should say.
I can
He's a little bit
promise
of a
you,
geezer.
very few things surprise me today. I can handle myself, and he picks up his flute. If he gets a little aggressive, I have ways of calming.
I just know what you're getting into. He is known to rip the spines out of his enemies. So he is a good Glyven, but shaped by the world. May Alomnia guide you. And she gets up and shakes his hand and says, I would like to talk to you a little bit more once we, maybe all together with the entirety of our party. However, yes, I think you should meet Belbin, our 5th member.
I would like that. Before you leave, he points at the Glyphex contraption. Your other companions weren't able to quite tell me what this was, as he points to, the ship is full of surprises, including this.
Yuki laughs and says, I don't really know myself. All I do know is that some have harnessed the power of mana in different ways than we've expected. Again, I can't claim to know anything about it. However, I will say, be careful with that, especially if you'd ever come across it. It could prove to be dangerous.
He nods and he says, "Duly noted. I'm just learning a lot of things for the first time in what seems like hundreds of years."
Well, if you
Pardon
would
my
like
curiosity.
to, it's not up to me to talk about. However, there may come a time where you do find out.
Well, let's see. I very much look forward to hearing it, but more importantly, I very much look forward to meeting your last companion.
Oh, and Yuki gives a curtsy. It goes down to Delbin's door and gives it a knock and says, "Delbin, are you here? You seem to be busy. I don't want to disturb you, but is everything okay?"
Belbin he'll just finish putting up the sword. He was gazing at it for quite a while. But yeah, he'll come to the door. Yuki, what's up?
Oh, sorry, Belbin. You seemed to be, when I passed you earlier, to be in a bit of a daze. I just hope everything's going all right for you. But our newest member of the crew, I don't really know how to say it, but Horatius, the Veildune elf, says he wants to talk to you. Would you be up for that?
Why does he want to see me?
I guess he's met everyone else in the crew up to this point, and he wants to meet the famous fifth member, the famous Belbin of Eclaas, is what he told me.
The famous Belbin. Does he know that I bowled a 300?
He doesn't. It didn't come up in conversation.
Mm.
He might be excited to hear about that.
We'll see, I guess. Yeah. I'll see him. I gotta do one thing first. Are you coming with me?
I mean, I can show you. He's just in Thordane's quarters, but he seemed to just want to talk to you.
Okay.
I mean, I can come if you want me to. Like, that's no problem.
Are you doing anything else?
No, I just finished reading the Guardian Historia. Maybe after we talk to him, I can talk to you about the Guardian Historia and what I learned today.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, let's go. Let's go see Horatio.
Horatius. Okay, well, follow me, and we'll go up. Oh, what do you have to do first? I don't want to interrupt.
No, I was just gonna check the crow's nest, see if we had any mist coming in. But yeah, let me go do that real quick.
It seems to be a nice day, but yes, feel free. It seems like you have a sharp eye. But I'll be up by Thordane. He's manning the helm, and then when you're done, come see me.
Okay.
And go. Yep.
Make your way up to the door, and again, the door is closed. How do you choose to enter? Do you knock or just go in?
The door. I thought I was gonna go to the.
Yeah, he's gonna go to
crow's
Crow's Nest first,
Oh, crow's nest.
Crow's
okay.
and make
Yeah.
Sariel cry again quickly, and then
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
come
make
back.
your
Okay.
make your way up to the top of the crow's nest, and Sariel is up there, and she sees you, and she kind of like cowers a little bit, and she says, "Oh, Belbin, don't worry, all seems okay on the horizon. That is, unless you see anything."
Have you been keeping watch?
Yes, of course. I'm always keeping
Belbin will
watch.
just take a quick glance. Does he see anything
Make
out on the?
make a wisdom skill check. Or no. Make a wisdom skill check.
That's 13.
13. You don't really see all that much other than the islands that have very much been coming closer off to the south. These islands right here. But definitely there is a little bit of kind of rumbling off in the distance, but you don't see any fog, like dense fog or anything off in the distance. It seems like it's just natural storm at sea, probably.
Okay. All right, Soriel, keep watch.
Aye, aye.
Stay vigilant.
Of course.
Not like yesterday.
She looks like down, kind of like at her feet, and she says, "I'll do better. I'll do better for Alamnia's breath and the crew." She pulls out an
Fantastic.
eyeglass and like looks off into the distance.
Great. And Belwyn will then go down,
Perfect.
satisfied with no fog.
Cool.
Are we ready,
then-
Belvin? Do we want to
Yeah.
enter?
Yuki, yeah, let's go. Let's go see.
right. Yuki
go see
knocks
our
and
man.
says, Yuki knocks and says, Horatius, I brought Belbin.
Make
come
an
in.
influence skill check for me.
Oh my gosh. This guy. It's a good thing she's influential. It's a 13.
As soon as you knock, the door opens immediately, and Horatius is standing right there as he welcomes the two of you in and says, "Oh yes, that was quick. I was expecting you. Belbin, the Glyven who's bowled a 300.
So you've heard.
How could I not?
How did you hear?
Come in. We have lots to talk about."
Oh my god. Is he clairvoyant? What's going on here?
Well, no. Yuki said that nobody's told you about this 300. How would you have known?
I know things. I am learned. I've traveled. I know a thing or two.
You're learned? This just happened like a week ago.
News travels fast in a week.
You were shipwrecked on a ship.
I was. Just yesterday. I was on a ship a week ago.
Right, where did you come from?
Port Grandium. The trading capital of all of Everlast.
Port Grandium. There's no way my 300 would have made its way.
He smiles as
To
he
Port
offers you a
Grandium.
seat and he pours you each a glass of water. And he pushes it over to you. And he says, "Well, when legend is made, word travels fast."
Can you keep making in like some sort of check about this?
Belvin
He
is
like
super sketched out by this guy.
Make a wisdom skill check for me.
that's a natural 16 for a 19.
Even this surprises you, Yuki, the fact that like he knows this information.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is shocking.
Horatius, I don't think I told you about that, but I guess word travels fast.
Very fast. As I
Belbin,
mentioned.
you're famous. You're famous. You're famous, Belbin.
Well
I'm
renowned.
skeptical of this guy. Horatius, how? Who are you?
I'm sorry, I did not introduce myself properly. And he stands up and he bows and he offers his hand out for you to shake. He says, "My name is Horatius Hagor. At your service."
Is something gonna happen if I shake your hand?
I thought it was a warm greeting where most people come from.
Okay, I'll keep my distance for now, but I appreciate the gesture.
He sits down and he says, "I understand your hesitancy. That's how I've been alive for so long."
Huh. Say that one more time.
"I appreciate your hesitancy. That's how I've been alive for so long."
How you've been alive for so long?
Yes,
What does that mean?
I'm hesitant as well.
Great. Then you understand.
Perhaps more than you know. I feel like I'm looking at a younger version of myself. I'll just say that.
You were this good looking when you were younger?
Ah, if only.
Man, all right. Well,
I don't think I would have been alone for as much as I have if I was that good looking.
You've disarmed me with your charm. Do I need to make a, do you need to make a check or something?
I don't know if there's anything to check, but I just call it as I see it.
Oh, well, okay. So
Yuki has no idea what's going on. She's looking between the two of them. She's just like, well, I've never. She's thinking to herself, "I've never seen Belbin this disarmed in my entire life with what's going on." And she's curious. She just doesn't say anything. She just sits there and observes this interaction.
So, Horatius, we found you yesterday floating on parts of a ship.
Yes.
and we found your little bottle floating in the water that said, "I'm being watched."
Yes.
Can you? What was that? Certainly, you know, after whatever it was, it seems to have attacked you.
Well, long story short, I've had this conversation with Yuki here. It seems everything that I know has been brought to question. And I don't know if it's
Including a
fate that has
300.
brought me here. I don't know if it's fate that has brought me here, but my ship and I, we were attacked in a dense fog. There was... Well, it seems that the dead has come to life. There was a ship, a terrible captain, and many dead swashbucklers, pirates. My simple merchant ship stood no chance, and I was just a mere traveler on that ship. It was by mere chance that I think I was able to escape. And because of that, I hear that the ship is going to Aishan Island, and I seek answers to the things that I thought I knew with 100% certainty. But the reason I brought you here isn't to tell you about that. It is merely to thank you. You and your companions saved my life and have allowed me to seek more purpose and more answers. And I would like to know a little bit more about this famous bowler who can bowl 300.
Well, you're welcome. My name is Belbin, as you've obviously heard in Port Grandium. Apparently.
I have the famous Belbin.
The famous Belbin. That's what I go by. I grew up in the Roku Horn, pretty poor. Quickly found myself getting in trouble from just stuff here and there, maybe boredom, maybe what have it. Then there's the greater part of my life I've spent in the shadows doing some stuff that's not talked about very often. Some stuff that is not only not talked about, but not known to most people.
He looks at you captivated.
Then, after that, I've been on this journey with these friends for the last few years, months and years.
Yuki stops for a second. She says, "Friends? Are you starting to come around, Belvin? Are you feeling okay?" And she puts her hand on his forehead.
Freudian slip.
And now you are famous. A real Cinderella story, huh?
Yep, nobody saw it coming. This late in life, nobody thought that it would be possible, but here I am today, standing with a 300 under my belt, and Belvin will take out. I'm assuming I've got some of my items that are in my backpack. He'll take out his 16-pound bowling ball that he had bowled the 300 with.
He looks at it and he picks it up, knowing as if like he's done like this before. He examines it and he says, "Quite a heavy weight. That's impressive.
Carry that on my back all the time."
Maybe I should do that." And he points down to his abs and he's like, "So I can be shredded like you are." Clearly, I'm assuming you're not wearing a shirt.
Never am.
Never am. And so he says, "I feel like I'm kindred spirits with you, Belbin. Not that Yuki and I don't have our similarities in a way, but you don't live as long as I have. You don't see as many seasons as I have without meeting all kinds of people. But the people on board Alumnius Breath, you included, are something special. I just want you to know that."
Thanks, Horatius. You're something special as well.
I don't know what I've done to be able to prove that to you, but
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I appreciate it.
know.
I appreciate it.
Trusting him less and less after this conversation.
All right, well, pleasure to meet you. I'll see you around the ship.
Before you do go, I do want to know, you seem like you've trained a lot, and you mentioned that you've done some shady things potentially in the past. Where did you learn to fight? I feel something deeper, almost as if there's a mana that pulses through you.
Originally, fighting was learned for means of survival. Then, through, I don't know, a few different schools, you learn some different techniques. Then, when you go and practice them, you slowly learn to perfect them outside of just the school.
I see. Don't take this the wrong way, Belbin. But what I sense in you, the presence of mana, it wanes compared to your other companions.
Nice.
You seem to be all-knowing.
No. Let's just say I'm perceptive. And he looks at you and he holds your gaze. And you also feel kind of like this deep connection, almost as if like he's like ageless as he looks to you. And you feel almost comforted in a way as he smiles and he says, "But don't worry, things will turn out the way that they're supposed to be. Fate always has a way of doing so."
Can Yuki make some sort of focus skill check to see if she can sense anything not dubious about him, but like as he's looking at Belbin, if she can see anything like for example when we fought Eeas, or like we've clearly seen evil magicians using evil magician tactics at this point. Can Yuki see if she can like kind of discern and see if anything like that kind of thing's going on while his focus is
make
on
an
him?
elemental skill check for me.
Gosh. I wish Yuki didn't join this conversation because now she is. That was really good, actually. That's a dirty 15 plus 1. Dirty 16.
You also feel this sense of just calm and reassurance. Your every sense of apprehension just fades away.
I don't know what to make of this guy. This guy creeps me out.
Belvin doesn't know
Obviously,
whether to
yeah.
lean in for a kiss to try to kiss him, or like he's never been this charmed off of his feet.
All right.
And he
He'll
says,
resist temptation.
he says to you, "Don't change, either of you. You're right here where you're supposed to be. Just as I'm right here where I'm supposed to be. Hopefully we make it to Aishan Island safe, and the answers to my questions and the answers to your questions get solved at the end of this quest. But again, if you need anything from me, it seems we'll be companions for at least the next couple of days."
What would we need from you? Just out of curiosity, apart from seeing the future.
He laughs. He says, "I don't see the future. Nobody can know the future. I know maybe it sometimes seems like it, but..." He nods.
Apart from, yeah, okay.
And he says, "Well, I have no idea exactly what I can do to help, but on the previous ship that I was, I helped to organize all of the ship's supplies. If I have some skill at that, if you need any help, if you have any kind of boatswain on here that needs any help, I don't expect to just be here for free. Yes, you saved my life, and I'm indebted to you. So I will do anything that I can to be able to make your journey more comfortable, our journey more comfortable."
Yuki says, "Bree seems very stressed these days. Maybe having an extra hand could help her."
Bree,
Bree and Martha.
you should
You
bring
didn't know
her to
about
me.
Bree and Martha?
You should bring her to me as well. I would like to speak with her as well.
Maybe we should bring you to her. She's a busy woman.
Maybe we should just stop bringing people to you.
Perhaps later then. I am quite exhausted.
After this, after these next couple days, he's gonna be the new captain. Just wait.
Oh
New
no.
WrestleMania champion.
Oh god.
He is all knowing. He'll know exactly what moves are coming.
Oh
And
my
with
god.
that, the two of you depart, and he bids you farewell, and that is where we're going to end our session.
Oh my gosh, this freaking session.
Gotta have a
Dang.
conversation with Yuki about what the heck just happened.
Heebie-jeebies
You'll be like-
everywhere.
Yuki's gonna be like, I don't know what just happened. That seems like a completely different person from what I was talking to.
Can we throw him overboard?
Maybe we shouldn't have saved him. Do we still have the log that he was floating on?
Let's go put him back.
All the heebie-jeebies.
You'll see it. You see it coming though if we try to do it. So I don't know how we do that.
Thoughts on tonight's session? Let's go ahead and start with you, Max.
All the heebie-jeebies. I don't know what's going on.
All
I mean,
the
it was kind of fun
heebie-jeebies, all the
to
heebie-jeebies.
start looking more into these runes of what's actually happened. So that's always fun. But yeah, I don't know. Zill's only used to getting feelings like these when bad things are happening. So he's not really sure what's going on, what to make of this. Yeah, it's a lot. He had enjoyed his conversation with this guy, but I don't know.
How would you know? That's why he wants to talk to everyone. He wants everybody to get to know what he's about. So I don't want anyone to be a stranger, except me. Cole, your thoughts? Oh, you know, Kokoro's my favorite character. I think she's gonna be a longtime companion for years to come.
False.
Dane, your thoughts?
I think Kokoro's gonna get thrown overboard by Luxalia one of these days.
Sometime in the night, you're gonna just see some electric.
No, my complete 360 opinion on him changed. You know, I have a couple things. So I actually thought when Max was like suspicious of him, I mean, as a person, I'm like, I don't think he's all that suspicious. He's just a Veil-Dune elf, and they're kind of odd folk, you know? And then after talking to him, I'm like, he seems like a nice guy. And then after seeing the conversation with Belman, she's like, what is going on with this guy? I have one of three opinions of him. First opinion is he's just really old, and he's like a Gandalf type character, like a Maiar, and he's just been walking around Everlast for forever and just knows things. So he could be just like a good guy who's just very mysterious, like Gandalf. 2, he could be the next big baddie that we have to fight.
Showing up precisely
And-
when he needs to.
Yeah, and 3, you know, it's hard because Yuki was rolling pretty good to try to decipher from this guy, but with those good rolls, you're like, there's nothing wrong with him. He is so good. He is the best. And
He is the best.
I don't know if I trust that, is the thing. Like, if those are the vibes he's giving off, that's just a little bit too on the nose for me. And so I might just be putting myself into a logical loophole here, or a logical, what's it called? A logical wormhole, going down it and overthinking things. And that might be the case. But I wouldn't say I'm suspicious of him. I would just say, like, I have no idea what to think of him now. I think I thought I had pinned his character. I have no idea now. I don't know if he's a good guy or he's a bad guy.
I'm really
if we should
curious. So
trust him.
what was the turning point in that conversation with Belman that made you think that?
It is the fact that she knew that he bowled a 300. It's like, okay, well, he's got powers beyond what we can comprehend. That's weird. And the fact that like he just so easily just charmed Belbin and just knew what words to say to be able to do so. I mean, I guess you could learn that.
I didn't make Connor do any rolls. It's up to him to be charmed by that.
That's true. I guess that's true. No, I
Just
mean,
Belbin.
I don't know. I just think it's like
The people on the island didn't care that much about the 300.
exactly.
I don't know.
yeah.
You had ladies that you brought back to the ship that Thornton
And-
took care of.
And a party that I like put on, but if people just wanted to party, it's not like it wasn't that big.
Yeah. I don't know though. I just think overall, like he seems like he reads people so well in a scary way. Like he can manipulate based off of just what he sees. Like he can instantly like pinpoint what kind of person they are. And obviously by making them vulnerable, they get to know more and more. He has the opportunity to get to know more and more about each of the characters, and that could be even more dangerous. So he's either completely innocent and he really is trying to like seek stuff, or there's something incredibly dubious going on. I don't know.
Scooby-Doo.
I do not know. I'm nervous now. I just don't know what to think about him. And this is
Belbin,
coming
look
from
at you,
Yuki,
just
who's trying to be so-
throwing wrenches in the plans, right?
But I mean that's a good thing because obviously Yuki seeing this like is very interesting. But at the same time, I think that it's challenging for Yuki too because she's trying to be more trusting towards people, and now she's just like she's a little bit like, oh, that's a little weird. This is more than just him being like an odd fellow. This seems to be some sort of tricks at play of sorts. So she's questioning herself.
It's good keeping my players on their toes. I like it. Intentional or
We
unintentional.
have either played right into his hand or derailed everything Kylos had planned for the next
I
week.
know. I know.
Thank goodness there's 2 weeks before next session.
It's one or the other. It's one or the other.
Connor, your thoughts?
Yeah. First off, that misery that I took for that sword. Ouch.
Is it rough? What are you
The
right
sword
now?
is gonna
What are
kill you,
at?
man, and not because it's sharp.
I know. Someone's gonna have to take that thing from me. No, this guy creeps me out. He's kind of like a used car salesman, where he's like,
I like how Dane's like, this guy is just like too like all-knowing and everything, and Connor's just like, used car salesman.
he's, well, it's like
Obviously.
They're
for
all
some
knowing.
reason he's for some reason he's on our ship. We're gonna need him to buy a car, but he just seems like a sleazy like. Especially if he's saying that he's like kindred spirits with Belbin. It's like, all right, I really shouldn't trust you then. You know, like, why would I trust you? Although I'm kind of with you, Dane. That's
Yeah.
like, well, I think that we just made him a villain, and he was not supposed to be a villain.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just do not trust him at all.
There's gonna have to be a lookout
Belbin-
position just for him.
You should
Belbin-
come into our room. Get Bray. Yeah, I'll meet with her in private next.
Well, Belwin was even gonna go and visit him. Like, I knew y'all were doing your little turns, and I was gonna try to avoid him.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Give me Belbin," and that's why I was like, I don't want to go in there alone. I don't. I would.
I don't trust myself alone.
Oh, who knows? The next session will be interesting. Luckily, yeah, it's 2 weeks away, so it'll have some time to maybe smooth over with me. But I'm just like, dude, I want to throw you off the ship and get rid of you. Like, we don't need you. That's how I feel coming out of that. Although Belbin feels calmed by his presence, so.
You do feel calm by his presence. So does Yuki, apparently. Yeah, you guys
She's
are,
got the heebie-jeebies now.
you guys are counter to like what your characters are actually feeling.
I know.
100%.
Cause Yuki, she rolled that 16 and was like, and you're like, he gives you nothing but good vibes, and so I don't know.
Well, it's like-
Myself, I'm just like, no, no, he doesn't.
I keep going back to the manic, how we were kindred spirits, and he's also like, oh, and you don't have very like, you don't have the same mana flow as the other people on the ship. It's like, to me that tells me you're probably not a good person. I don't know. I don't know what to think about.
No, but that means you're not.
Because that was mean.
But that's known. You know, like that's a given. But this guy, he's the one that's not proven. At least you know what you're getting into when you're with
That's
Belvin.
true.
That's true.
That's a good point. There's no mystery behind it.
Oh my God.
It's like everyone's surprised by the thing that Belvin does, but like nobody at the same time, no one's surprised at the things that Belvin
Yeah,
does.
it's expected to some degree. Whereas this
I-
guy, I feel like he's gonna kill us in our sleep.
I'm curious though now that Belvin knows that Bree's a foxy lady, if anything's gonna come from
Yeah,
that.
Bree is a foxy lady.
Oh, I'll come get Bree for you. You want to see him next?
Belvin never noticed because he was just
Unfortunately, you can't
mesmerized
see
by
the
the whip.
full art on
The
her
whip.
token. She's got
I know.
Martha in her other hand.
Oh, that's the real love of Belvin's life, Martha. Anyway, that's all. Those are all my thoughts. I don't know what to make of it.
My thoughts on today's session, I did not expect it to go in the direction that it was going. I mean, when you're on the sea, you don't really get an opportunity to know. And I feel like in the past too, like you guys, as far as your conversations with like NPCs, not that they've been like lacking by any means, but you tend to just like have your NPCs and then you're just like, okay, like that's the NPC. Like this one definitely seemed more integral on, it kind of started off not that way. And then once you started having conversations with Horatius, yeah, that kind of took over like the last like half of the stream, which was good. I enjoyed myself a lot. Hopefully you guys enjoyed yourselves too, but we'll just have to see. You got 2 days of travel with this guy. Make the most of it.
Oh my gosh.
The ship will come into port and everyone will be dead, probably.
Or like I said, he's gonna like charm everyone. He's gonna be the new captain of Lomnia's Breath. Thordian will be like, you are more qualified for this.
He'll be a
than I am."
permanent member of the crew, and we'll
Oh
have
my
to,
gosh.
I'm excited for
We'll
him
have
to
to
be
find
part
someone
of
to
the
play
ship.
him.
Out of the crew.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, now Lothier. Oh my gosh, the two big egos going at each other.
Yeah. But it was good. Thank you so much all for those who joined, especially those who did come in for the first time off of that raid. You guys are amazing. And for those who have followed us and whatnot, you're part of something special here with Everlast. And we do stream this every 2 weeks. As in our next stream of this, I believe, is going to be, let me pull up the 24th? No, 25th. Is our next stream of Everlast for those in the West, and then like me here in the East, it's going to be the 26th. And so, yeah, make sure to join us for that. It should be sweet. Dane, announcements.
Yeah, a couple things. So what we have left for the rest of the week, I believe Coalforge Great Axe. Are you guys back on Sunday or no?
Yes, we are. You put 5:30 in.
A little later. I know it's gonna have to
It's
be
gonna be
later.
later than that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm literally gonna be running from an in-person Everlast event
Yeah.
an hour and a half away from where I live
Yeah.
to get my laptop set up to stream with Cole. It is gonna
Sorry
be a
about that.
wild day.
It's gonna be a busy weekend. Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Those of you. Oh, good. Good. Go ahead.
we are gonna be streaming exact time TBD between Cole's schedule and me coming home from the event. So just stay tuned to the Discord. It'll probably be around 7-ish Mountain Time, which is what we theoretically normally did, even though normal has not been normal for like the past 3 streams.
It's okay.
So
All
just
good.
pay attention to the Discord. We'll be doing Sunday evening at some point.
Yep. It'll be good. Yeah, we're looking forward to that. Speaking of which, nice segue. So that's our next stream. So that's on Sunday. Those of you who are not aware, we are actually producing an original card game based off of the world of Everlast called the Everlast trading card game. So again, this is the original tabletop RPG that has been 10 years in the making. We are coming out with a card game with it and is currently on Kickstarter. So if someone wants to post that link in the it's just !Kickstarter. That would be great. But we have 5 days left of the Kickstarter. It's already funded. It got funded in the first week, but we're getting to the stretch goals. So once we hit the stretch goals, it's just more free stuff. And what better is getting 30% off MSRP. So not only do you get first edition stuff from it, not only is it 30% off of what like the market is, but you guys also get it early. So again, it's going to be released as like its unlimited version. The first 2 sets, the Raising of Helix and the Heroes of the West, in August in the unlimited version. However, if you do get Kickstarter exclusive stuff, then it's first edition packaging, and that's the only way you're ever going to be able to get first edition is from the Kickstarter. It's 30% off, but you get a bunch of free promos, including all the characters from Eclaas that you see in this. So you can get a bunch of like signed promos from those and a bunch of free packs, which is really cool too. So really consider checking it out. It's a really good deal, and especially if you're interested in tabletop RPGs, and especially a brand new one that's coming up the pike, we're doing that. If you're local to Colorado, on Saturday and Sunday, so tomorrow and then Sunday, we have 2 events, one at 4 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time in Golden, Colorado. Come learn how to play the Everlast TCG at the Golden Game Guild. And then in Colorado Springs at Dale's Cards, we're going to be hosting a Learn How to Play event at 1 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time this Sunday. But again, the important thing is, guys, we have the Kickstarter ending. So unless you want to pay full price for products and you don't want to, and they'll be released in August, if you want to get them early at 30% off, it's very, very important that within these next 5 days, you consider checking that out.
Yeah, now
So,
it's officially
anything
4
else?
days.
4 days. Wednesday at 7 p.m. I believe is when it finishes. So yeah, get on it. Especially too, it's funded, so you're getting the product regardless. It's just basically the more people we have funding it, the more extra stuff on top of it. Free booster packs, free promo cards, even free mana dice to be able to use with the card game. It's really cool. So and our artist, she's amazing. Her name's Karo-chan. She's from Japan. And all of the artwork is official, obviously official artwork from the world of Everlast, and it will be official artwork in the tabletop RPG when it does come out in the future too. So it's really good. She specializes in like Final Fantasy JRPG type art. It's really good. It's super good. So yeah, check it out. It's awesome.
In fact, during this stream, I upped what I was getting. So
Did you?
just so I wouldn't forget. Yep, just so I wouldn't forget.
Did
before
you?
it ended.
What did you
So-
get, Connor? On top of
I switched the packs I was getting.
Nice.
So I'm getting all the starting packs now.
Hey, nice with some with
Mhm.
packs with the free packs on top of it. Nice. We'll have to
Thanks,
play
guys.
some more. We'll have to play
Mhm.
some more when we get there. But thank you, Connor. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time.
anything-
Honestly, one of our big goals, like we are funded, which is awesome. It'd be awesome to have more backers, but not just for the money, but so more of you can learn to play the game. This is something that we honestly believe is really fun, but also like we want to be able to spread to as many of you as possible so we can start doing things like creating leagues and getting people to know it more than just outside of stream and whatnot. This is a great time, and so we want to just be able to get the game into as many hands as possible. And so it's not a money grab. It's something that we're just really passionate about. We want to build tight-knit communities around this game and people that are dedicated to playing it. That's kind of the biggest thing. So thank you all for who have donated, those who are praying for us, and also those who have also shared the information far and abroad. So we really appreciate it. Dane, anything else?
Yeah, I mean, starting next week, we'll be back with Monday prayers on Monday, I believe, unless something changes, but I think I'll be here for it. Kyle will be continuing his playthrough of, actually, no, Tuesday, we have Adventures in Middle-earth, our other tabletop RPG that we're doing. That one's D&D 5e, in the world of Middle-earth. In the years between The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, we have a campaign going on in Eriador, which is the area with the Shire and Bree and everything. So if you like Lord of the Rings and you like just Dungeons and Dragons, come join us for that. So basically, the weeks that we don't do Everlast are the weeks that we do Adventures in Middle-earth. So it's really cool. It's definitely a very different world than just normal D&D. It's a world of like low magic, and it's very different. It's very, very different. It feels like Lord of the Rings, which is awesome. So come join us for that. Kyle will be back with some Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the remake, on Thursday next week, and then no Everlast next week. Aside from that, we have our amazing sponsor, Daisaki. They're a Japanese sweets and luxury treats company based in Tokyo, Japan. They're a small family business that offers free international shipping on all of their products. If you do decide to buy from them, make sure to mention that Forge sent you, or I came for Fancy Forged, and your Twitch username, because once we hit a referral limit, then we actually give away a box for free on the channel. We've already given away 2 free boxes on the channel, and they've just been an amazing sponsor over the last couple of years. So yeah, consider checking that out, especially if you can't make it to Japan. It's like the next best thing. It's actually Japanese snacks that Japanese people eat. It's not just your Pocky and Kit Kats, though they are included, but it's actual snacks and seasonal amazing treats that you can actually get in Japan. I mean, trust me, I lived in Japan for 5 years. The stuff that they send are very much the stuff that Japanese people eat. So it's pretty cool. Check them out. And then Kickstarter is the most important thing if you are going to help out Everlast financially. But we also have Coffee of the Realm and Fragrances of the Realm, and it's our Everlast. It's our partnership. Coffee of the Realm is our partnership with Roastify Coffee, using the world of Everlast. So all of the different roasts, there's 8 different roasts, from light roast to dark roast to decaf to all kinds of things. But all of the artwork on it is official artwork, and it gives you a little snippet about each little area across the world of Everlast, which is pretty cool. And then Fragrances of the Realm, especially for your tabletop RPGs. They're great to set the ambiance. And again, each of the candles are themed off of specific places across the world of Everlast. But all the proceeds go towards the creation of the art of Everlast for us. So, I think that's it, though. I think I've said everything.
I love it. Let's go ahead and close down everything in prayer, and then we will go ahead and say goodbye, at least for this weekend, until some Cold War Great Axe, the MSA. So, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. O Jesus, my Savior and Redeemer, Son of the living God, behold, we kneel before you and offer you our reparation. We would make amends for all the blasphemies uttered against your holy name, for all the injuries done to you in the Blessed Sacrament, for all the irreverence shown towards your Immaculate Virgin Mother, for all the slanders spoken against your spouse, the Holy Catholic Church. O Jesus, who has said, if you ask the Father anything in my name, he will give it to you. We pray and beseech you for all our brethren who are in danger of sin. Shield them from every temptation to fall away from the true faith. Save those who are even now standing on the brink of the abyss. To all of them, give light and knowledge of the truth, courage and strength for the conflict with evil, perseverance in faith and active charity. For this do we pray, most merciful Jesus, in your name, unto God the Father, with whom you live and reign in the unity of the Holy Spirit, world without end. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. God bless you all. I'm praying for you. Pray for me. Make sure to pray for each other, and I will see you all on Tuesday, and Max will see you all sooner than that. So you guys have an amazing one, and yeah, may Alomnia guide you. Bye.